Good evening, everyone. It's 7:04. This is a regular meeting of the Municipal Council of the City of Westmount, held, of course, in the Council Chamber, City Hall, May 5th, 2026. We are all present with the exception of Councillor Kez, who's not feeling well. She was at the prior meeting and left. Item number 1 on the agenda is the opening of the meeting. I call the meeting to order. Thank you. Next are mayor's and councillors' reports. I have a couple of comments. Yes? Oh, yes, correct. We have one item to change.
Item 4.
Change the order of item number, which item is it?
31. After question period, we'll do it.
Okay,
I have it in my speaking notes.
okay. So item number 2, mayor's and council's report. I'll start with my report. I usually have comments at the beginning. Bonsoir à toutes et à tous, et merci d'être parmi nous ce soir. As we gather this evening, I want to begin with a simple message to all residents of Westmount. We heard you, we see it, and we're on it. Over the past months, many of you have raised concerns about the conditions of our roads. Quelle surprise. You have called, written, stopped us on the street, and shared with us what you're seeing in your neighborhoods. Potholes, cracked pavement, uneven surfaces, and streets that need attention. And you're right. I want to express our sincere gratitude to residents for speaking up and sharing your experiences. Your feedback is very important to us, and it does matter. It has helped us bring us to a position where we can make meaningful change with a better understanding of the reality on the ground. Winter's never easy on our roads, as you see. The freeze and thaw cycles, snow clearing, salt, heavy traffic, and aging infrastructure all take its toll. But acknowledging the problem is not enough. Our responsibility is to understand it, plan responsibly, and act. This is why the city undertook an extensive study of our road network and entire infrastructure. That work is now almost complete, and the report is nearly ready. Its findings are already helping us to identify the areas of greatest concern and develop a plan to guide us forward. Nous savons que l'état de certaines rues préoccupe plusieurs résidentes et résidents. Ces préoccupations sont légitimes. Elles ont été entendues et elles sont prises de sérieux. Le rapport est presque prêt et ces constats nous aident déjà à élaborer un plan d'action structuré et responsable. The good news is that there's hope on the horizon. Winter is behind us. Spring has arrived. It's hard to see that now, but it's still cold. And with it comes a moment where we can begin the important, extensive, and yet expensive work of restoring our roads. This is not work that can be done overnight, properly in the middle of winter, certainly. But now that conditions are better, we can start moving ahead. The plan being developed will allow us to address the most urgent and visible areas first, while also creating a broader strategy to restore and maintain our streets over time. This means prioritizing safety, managing costs carefully, and making sure that the work is durable, not just cosmetic. We know residents want to see progress. You deserve roads that are safe, reliable, and worthy of the city we all care so deeply about. And while we cannot fix every street overnight, we can promise this, that the assessment is nearly complete, the priorities are coming into focus, and the plan is taking shape, and the work is beginning. Alors, ce soir, je veux que les résidentes et résidents sachent ceci. Vos préoccupations ont été entendues. Nous voyons les défis sur le terrain, et la ville agit avec sérieux, avec rigueur et avec détermination. Hope is on the horizon because spring gives us the opportunity to repair, rebuild, and renew. We heard you, we see it, we're on it. Merci beaucoup, thank you. Do any councillors have any reports that they would like to give? Councillor Moss? Councillor Aronson?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've got a few words from the Parks and Green Spaces Commissioner about what's happening in our parks right now, because there's a lot. So, as I'm sure we all agree, Westmount's parks are a big part of why we all live here, and our public works crews are deep into the spring cleanup. There is a lot of winter to clear, and they're working through it. So inspections are underway across every park, so that we can catch small repairs before they have to become big ones. And by mid-May, we hope to be in full swing, with new plantings going into the ground. A note on Summit Woods, which I know a number of you are here because you're very deeply invested in Summit Woods. The work to close some informal trails is nearing completion, and that's going to help us to allow the forest floor to recover. From May through October, the city will be working with our friends at Les Amis de la Montagne. Our friends are good. We could use more of those. And so we'd like to invite you to come up to Summit Woods on May the 20th with our horticultural team and our arborist for a guided walk to give you an idea of what this project to take good care of Summit Woods is shaping up to be. The Amis de la Montagne is going to be helping us to identify and manage invasive species across all 4 hectares of the park. And public security will also be there to talk about trail rules, dog ownership in the woods, and how we can all adopt best practices to share this space. The walk is in the morning, although the exact time will be posted on our website when it's determined, but it is on May 20th. And one more thing while we're here on Green Spaces. May, as you may recall, is No Mow May. And the idea is very straightforward. Our native bees come out of winter hungry, and the dandelions and the clover and the small flowers on an unmown lawn are some of the first foods that they find. So I'm going to ask all the residents, if you can hold off on that mower for a few weeks, the bees will thank you, and frankly, so will I. A scruffy lawn in May is doing some real work to make sure our pollinators survive and help us to bring more flowers and more beauty to our city. Now, the bees do their work the way that most useful work gets done, which is to say quietly and without a lot of credit. Our public works crews are the same. A lot of what they do in these parks happens before any of us are out the door in the morning, and you'll never see most of the very hard work that goes into maintaining and improving our parks and green spaces. So today I do want to thank them out loud because they deserve it and because somebody should. Now, all of this said, weather will do what weather does, and our cleaning and our planting are at its mercy. So we're going to thank you in advance for your patience while we get there, especially if April showers do interrupt us bringing you Mayflowers. Now, there's an old line that we don't inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. And the trees in our parks were planted by people that we'll never meet, for people that we'll never meet. The bees and the crews are out there doing their share, so when you go out to enjoy our parks and our green spaces this spring and summer, please do yours. And while you're in the parks, try to leave the place a little bit better than you found it. That's our whole job here. Just try to leave the place a little better than we found it.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing you out there. Thanks very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor Levine, we'll go in order, I guess. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As had been reported publicly on April 21st, I wish to inform Council that meetings with the residents of Westmount Square and One Wood were scheduled jointly with the Service de Police de la Ville de Montréal and the City of Westmount, but they were canceled on very short notice by the police without additional information being provided to justify that decision. At a joint meeting on November 16th, it was agreed that the City and the SPVM would work together on a resident awareness initiative with the presence of municipal authorities in order to reassure residents regarding the frequent demonstrations taking place on both Wood and Green Avenues. This coordinated approach formed the basis of the city's involvement. Following the cancellation of the scheduled meetings, the city was subsequently informed that arrangements were being made directly with the two buildings to proceed with meetings while excluding city representatives. I wish to advise Council that these arrangements are not part of a coordinated approach with the City of Westmount and are not consistent with the commitments that were made. For Council's information, the meeting with the residents of One Wood is now scheduled for May 20th from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock a.m. The timing of the meeting with the residents of Westmount Square has not yet been confirmed. In a matter of this sensitivity, it is essential that communications with residents be conducted in a coordinated, transparent, and coherent manner between the City of Westmount and the SPVM. Anything less risks undermining public confidence and creating confusion for residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Levine. You and I will be at those meetings, as was arranged.
Tough acts to follow, but I have a few
Councillor
items
Moritz.
in sports and rec to go over. Just to note that all spring sports programs are currently underway. The clay courts in Stainer Park are now open, but the ones in Westmount Park and King George Park are, well, they should be open soon. We're waiting for drier and warmer weather to be able to do the prep work needed for those. Also to note, Family Day is on May 30th. And if you permit me, I'd like to congratulate the Canadiens de Montréal. I know quite a few of the players live here in Westmount. Just to say, way to go, guys, and we're all rooting for you.
Thank you. Councillor Chada?
Yes. Alors, il y a plusieurs événements qui se passent aux bibliothèques et à Victoria Hall dans les prochaines semaines. Alors, je vais juste surligner quelques-unes. The first is Intro to Digital Illustrations, which is a workshop for adults on May 12th. There's also a documentary film club that's going to be showing Sugarcane on May 13th. Then there's a lecture, The Emergence of a Great Metropolis, Montreal, 1820 to 1930, which is on May 21st. And then there's the McIntyre Youth Exhibition. This is in collaboration with the Visual Arts Center. So there's a vernissage on May 22nd, and then the show is going to run from May 23rd to June 11th. And then I also want to highlight a concert unicum with Supernova 4. And then I also want to support a shout out to Cedars Can Support public lecture, which is taking place on May 19th, and our fellow councillor has been instrumental in making that happen. And it's free, open to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Shami, is there anything you want to add? Councillor Chomsky?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a brief report on the Grosvenor Avenue Rehabilitation Project, which kicked off this Monday morning with the closure of Grosvenor Avenue northbound from the boulevard all the way to the city limits. As councillor for District 2 and the Commissioner of Infrastructure, it's encouraging to see that these projects are moving forward from planning and into execution. From what I observed on site in the morning and later in the afternoon on Monday, things are off to a very strong start. The current setup in terms of traffic is going very well. I've received positive feedback from residents on Victoria and nearby streets. There were some suggestions, and I'm happy to report that those adjustments were made by the end of the day on Monday by the team on the ground with regards to no parking zones and other recommendations for signalization, and that feedback will be incorporated as the situation evolves. And most importantly, the tone from residents has been very positive. There's a clear understanding of the need for the work that is being done and a level of patience as we move into orange cone season here in the city of Westmount. I also want to recognize the efforts of the engineering team and their colleagues and the entirety of the city administration. Their responsiveness, their coordination that we're seeing on the ground is exactly what we want to see on projects like this, and it makes a real difference for residents to be able to respond to those feedback in near real time. This is a good example of how we want projects to be rolled out, and I will continue to monitor this and the rest of the infrastructure projects throughout the construction season. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor D'Amico?
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Donc, j'aimerais juste annoncer au public que les résultats pour l'année 2025 seront disponibles sur notre site Internet. Nos états financiers vérifiés seront disponibles sur le site de la MAMACH demain, donc possiblement demain pour les deux. J'aimerais juste passer à travers quelques chiffres avec vous. Donc, pour côté revenus, donc les transferts ou la taxe de bienvenue, on avait budgété un montant de 11 millions. On a reçu 16,3 millions, donc c'est une augmentation de 5,3 millions. Les intérêts et pénalités sur les taxes, on avait prévu 650 000. On a reçu 1,1 million, donc c'est une augmentation de 400 000. Côté total des revenus municipaux, on avait prévu 139 millions. Nous sommes à 145 millions, donc c'est une augmentation de 6,2 millions. Quand on regarde les revenus bruts de Hydro-Westmount, on avait prévu un 32,7 millions. Nous sommes à 35,7 millions, donc c'est une augmentation de 3,3 millions. Quand on regarde le surplus, on avait prévu une allocation de 5,5 millions pour l'allocation du surplus. Nous sommes à uniquement 1,1 million. Donc, c'est une diminution de 4,3 millions. Je tiens à remercier le service des finances pour le travail qui a été fait dans ce dossier-là. Vraiment un travail exceptionnel avec des états financiers qui sont sans aucune réserve. Mr. Mayor, I'm happy to announce this evening the 2025 operating results. They will be available on the website tomorrow. The city's audited financial statements will also be available on the minister's website, the MAMH website. Just very quickly, some highlights from the operating results. So we had estimated transfer duties of $11 million. We received $16.3 million, so it's $5.3 million more than estimated. We estimated interest and penalty on taxes of $650,000. We received $1.1 million, so it's an increase of $468,000. We expected total municipal revenues of $139,770,000. We received $145,973,000. It's an increase of $6.2 million. On the Hydro-Westmount front, we expected gross revenues of $32.7 million. We received $35.7 million, an increase of $3 million. On the surplus allocation, we expected to allocate $5.5 million to the surplus. We're only allocating $1.1 million, so it's $4.3 million less than expected. Again, all these results will be available tomorrow on our website, and you can consult the detailed audited financial statements, which are without any reservation, on the MAMH, the minister's website. I also want to thank the finance department for their exceptional work in this file. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Before we start the question period, I always have a habit of commenting on answering questions that were asked last time and weren't answered because we weren't able to at the time, so I'll go through a number of them. One comment was on Summit Woods, and people are concerned. They want to know what's going on and what they can add. And you heard Councillor Aronson talking about the fact that there is a meeting to be held on May 20th in the morning in the park by us to inform you of a number of things. And another thing you'll see that later on we're passing approval for a consulting contract to give us guidance that Summit would, including looking at vegetation that's there and invasive species, which is of a concern to a lot of people. So I think your questions will be answered in part there. Another question I was asked last time, which wasn't fully answered, was a concern about the train station and safety in particular. We said that medium term, we're looking at what we can do with the train station, and we've received some ideas from people. But short term, we've got to secure it. There were concerns about safety. There were homeless people apparently, or people got into the train station. Immediately, public security were alerted. The next morning, they went in, they cleaned it up, they secured it, and they do make regular visits there to make sure it's safe. Another question was asked about the environmental report, which we have, and we haven't done a lot on that yet, but it's a high priority for us. We have a lot of work going on now. I must say, with regards to environmental issues, garbage is is quite important for us, and because we know we have to renew or go to appel d'offres for new quotes in the fall, and our people are looking at various alternatives to make sure that we could do the best that we could to send less and less to the landfill. In terms of a soccer field, a turf soccer field that was addressed last time, there's a lot of people who have very strong feelings about grass, and there's other people who have very strong feelings about turf, and the idea was, wouldn't it be great if we could have both? And we did make efforts a number of years ago before I was here to work with Marianopolis on a secondary field. In other words, keep our soccer field grass and work on a secondary turf field with Marianopolis. The timing wasn't right or whatever, it didn't work out at the time, but our administration has, at our direction, has rejuvenated that discussion, and Acting DG Lapointe did meet with Marianopolis last week, as late as Friday. They are much more open and very interested in working together, hopefully on on a turf field, and we'll have more, as we have more news, we will bring it to your attention. Another concern we mentioned last time was at 6 Park Place, which seemed to be unsafe and had a fence with holes around it. Anyway, we've addressed that right away, and an engineer was hired and did give a report on April 29th indicating that the building is safe on the exterior for sure, and that there's no need for the fence, and the fence will be taken down. There were issues with garbage as well, which were addressed. Someone else asked a question about the transformers that are visible. Excess transformers that are not in use are visible, and we have nowhere else to put them at the moment, so it's sort of not that pretty. There is a place envisioned later on down the road where the old incinerator was, and that there will be construction there to house the transformers. But in the meantime, rest assured, this is checked. There's no danger. These transformers do not have PCBs. They can't catch fire. They're stored there. You could see them. They're not really that pretty, but they're safe. So that's the most important thing. And I think somebody asked a question last time about the fees paid jointly with Côte-Saint-Luc and many other cities dealing with municipal law, and somebody was asking what is the total fees? I approached the mayor of Côte-Saint-Luc, and he said other mayors asked the same question, and he was going to prepare a presentation for all of us, which I don't have yet. So that's all I have in terms of questions from last time. So I'll go to the first question period, which is item number 3. I see I have a lot of people with questions. Good evening. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Alan Rubin, and I live at 794 Lexington, and I've been there since May 31st, 1984. My questions today refer to garbage collection, which the mayor has just brought up. This is an issue I have raised with Councillor D'Amico for many months, and I would respectfully request that Westmount reconsider its garbage collection policies and return to the way it always was, specifically garbage being taken from the backs of our homes on collection day by the city's contractors and not by the citizens themselves. There are several reasons for my requests, and I trust that you will take them into consideration. Our city is home to many senior citizens, some with mobility issues, some disabled, some with health issues, and hauling trash to the curb is particularly dangerous to many, myself included. At 79 years of age, I have the normal health issues which come with advanced aging, and schlepping my garbage to the curb is very problematic, even more so in the winter over the ice and snow. And I am one of the lucky ones. There are others who can only walk with a cane or a walker. What are they supposed to do with their trash during the winter especially? As an adjacent issue to what I just told you, what happens if people leave town either on vacation for a long weekend on a Wednesday or a Thursday? Their garbage will sit and become even more putrid because they are not permitted to put the garbage out before 7 a.m. on collection day. This is an issue that can be easily put to rest by the simple act of having the contractors remove the garbage even if the resident is not home. That's the way it has been in Westmount for many, many years, and it only stopped 2 years ago. Lastly, and I will offer a personal opinion, I believe that the survey the city sent is at best an unrealistic one. It was not designed to achieve any consensus, but rather to arrive at a predetermined conclusion. At best, I believe the survey was flawed. Mr. Mayor, members of council, I thank you for your consideration and for allowing me to express not only my opinion, but one that is shared by many of my friends and neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you. So I can answer you, I'll give you my opinion. Many people have told us the same thing. We used to collect garbage from the sides and back of the houses. We stopped. I'm not sure why. I was told it may be an issue. The garbage collectors could get hurt or this or that. But my personal feeling, first of all, we're not at that stage yet, but when we have a contract, which we really can't change at this point, but it comes up in the fall, and we have to go to appel d'offres, and what I would, my personal opinion, and I guess I'd have to get council to agree, is to ask for an option to for additional service to collect garbage for those people who want the side and the back. It may come with an additional charge for those people That's just my thing off the top of my head, but it's certainly something, a service that we should look at providing, and I agree with you, as well as the issue when you leave town. With regards to the survey, council wasn't advised about the survey beforehand. The administration runs the administration. Sometimes they ask us for things, sometimes they don't. They did this on their own, and if we were involved, maybe it would be different, I don't know, but I'm very hopeful and confident that we will get a lot of information out of the survey that hopefully will be helpful to us, and thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir.
John Stewart, 468 Claremont, right next to 500 Claremont. And helping me is Frank Philpott, 466 Claremont.
Okay.
Now, Frank has a picture of what was, could be viewed.
Was that showing up? It's okay?
Okay. Between my property, 468, and 500 Claremont, there has been a lane there. For the last 50 years, it was owned by a deceased person. At the front of that property is my parking spot, on which I pay taxes. Now, and it was like that. The city took no interest in how we maintained the trees or the leaves or anything. The former monastery with the priests, they would occasionally help with the raking of the leaves of that area. But, you know, since they were gone 7 years ago, 8 years, more than 8 years
But what is
ago.
your question? I'm having trouble.
Okay, wait a minute, okay, yes, all right. Last week, arborists came in and removed all the trees. Some of them had been removed by 500 Claremont, but most of them were removed by the arborists who were from the city of Westmount. We have no shade, no privacy, and it doesn't, and there's a possibility of the erosion of the land from 500 Claremont. In total, the number of trees removed, there were originally approximately 50 trees. Now we're down to 10 trees. So good ecological practice recommends that for each tree taken down, 2 should replace them. Well, that would be a bit much to ask the city to do, since the city, I'm told, owns that land and not the deceased person. But what I'm asking, and you don't need to respond now, just to consider our request for the replacement of the trees to preserve privacy, shade, and prevent erosion.
Thank you.
And if we don't hear anything, we'll be back next month.
Well, we'll get back to you. I always get back to people next month before then. So I'll ask the administration to look in that, find out what happened and why, and what we can do to plant new trees. So we will look at what we can do about that. I'll get the information for next time. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, friends. I'm Frank Philpott, 466 Claremont, but I'm not here to speak for myself. I'm here to speak for my neighbor, who is Stephen Brower, 495 Claremont. And I have his questions here. First of all, ask Council if the neighbors could see the approved landscaping plan in order that we can assess it, see if it will over time grow to restore some of the privacy which we have lost by the cutting of the natural trees. And you saw that the natural trees have been very substantially In fact, I should show you this one.
You know, you're free. It would probably be a good idea, free to leave those things with us, and we
Fine.
will definitely look into it.
Fine.
A picture's worth 1,000 words, as they say.
Okay. So that's the question about the landscaping.
Landscaping.
There's a second question.
Okay.
And the second question is, again from Mr. Brower. Why was a permit given to the developer to build this new structure, which you saw in the previous slide? It is here. There's a new structure which has been built on the land of the 500 Claremont. However, the original plan was for a garden with access available, we understood, to the neighbors. And here is the plan from the 2017 plan for 500 Claremont. And that's all documented in the original planning document. So we can't understand why this has changed to the structure that exists now. That's we'd like to know.
So I have no idea because I'm new, but we will get back to you on that. If you could leave your
Excellent.
pictures with Alicia, that would be really good.
Fine.
And
Thank
if we
you.
have questions on them, we will call you.
Thank you.
But we will get back to you for next month. Thank you.
Hello,
Hello.
good evening. My name is Julia Silver. I have lived in Westmount since 1988 at 4445 de Maisonneuve West. And
Nice
I'm-
garden.
Pardon?
You have a nice garden.
Exactly. And that is why I'm here this evening, because we received a notice that said that the city would like to plant a tree in the middle of our garden. So I would my question, but I want to give you some background, but my question, of course, will be, why would you like to plant a tree in the middle of our beautiful perennial garden? So let me give you the background. When we bought the house in 1988, there was in fact a maple tree on the property. And over the years, it dropped branches, and we managed, and we had the city come a few times, and our children had near misses, and it just happened. Then, in the I'm going to say it's about the early 2000s, because my children who are now in their 30s were still in the city. My husband was coming home from yoga. There was a young couple sitting in a car parked on the street in front of our house, and I say to this day, thank goodness he was a well-brought-up young man, because he walked his girlfriend to her door. My husband was coming towards our house, a huge branch fell, narrowly missing him, and smashed the car. That car was a write-off. So had they still been kissing in the car, it would not have been very good. So we called the city came very promptly, they were wonderful, they took a look. Within days, the tree was gone, the stump was gone, the roots were gone, and they said, at the time, what kind of tree would you like, Mr. and Ms. Silver and Mr. Hooton? And we said, well, actually, what we'd really love to do is turn the space into a beautiful garden. And the city said, you can. We wish you well. Go ahead and do it. And we did. And they also said there were trees on either side of us and in front of us, and it was all fine for the street. We built that garden. People started to love it. We kept working on it. We put tons of effort. We put time and we put money into it. We also got approval by the city at the time to put in a cedar hedge, which is thriving. And that's probably 15 to 20 trees right there on the property. Since then, we've actually put 2 other trees at our own expense on the property. And we've continued to grow a beautiful perennial garden. Fast forward to when the city had to dig up our section of the Maisonneuve to put new piping and new plumbing in. That destroyed our garden. We spoke with the contractor in conjunction with the city, and the city once more supported us to continue to grow a beautiful garden for ourselves and for the community. In fact, it provided 2.5 yards of topsoil, best kind of soil you can get, and $2,500 so we could put the garden back. So we could continue to have a beautiful garden. You mentioned you know it's a beautiful garden. Many people know it's a beautiful garden because they actually walk by to check on their flowers. They come to see if the dahlia has opened. They come to look at the spring flowers. I think it might be the most photographed garden on our street because people stop in the spring. Right now, it's a fantastic spring garden. People are stopping. They bring their children. We put stepping stones in so kids could go into the garden and explore. My husband, those of you who have seen him out in the garden, he regularly hands out flowers. I have convinced him that men like flowers too, so he started to give them to men as well, but he usually likes to give them to the ladies.
Your question?
Pardon?
What's your question?
My question is the why you feel the city has made a decision apparently to plant a tree on the city part of the garden. In 2 hours of basically cleaning out the garden so that the spring flowers would have their glory, I asked people, anyone who stopped and said, oh, I love the crocus, or I see your daffodils are almost up, I said, would you like to sign a letter for me to say that you love my garden? I had 25 people sign right then and there without no effort at all. And I know if I went out into the neighborhood or I stood outside my door and asked, I'd probably get you 100 signatures to that effect.
Did you send in the letter to
We
the
have
city?
said that in the letter, and I have the signatures. So all that to say, I can show you photos. You said a picture's worth 1,000
Yeah.
words. To wrap it up, I would say, why don't you just stroll over? We're literally 2 blocks away. Come and see how beautiful the garden is, and stand there and watch people stop to look at it, and then please explain to me how, because if you do decide to go ahead and plant a tree, you will destroy the garden.
Yeah.
You
So,
will destroy the garden. So
Generally, our policy is to plant as many trees as we can. It's our obligation, and it's the right thing to do, and for many reasons. And the vast majority of homes want a tree. In my own case, a number of years ago, I had a tree in my front lawn, and I saw the thing's dying, but I don't have time to take care of it. I don't know what to do. Somebody knocked on my door from the city, said, by the way, your tree's dying, and it belongs to us. We're the city. We can take it down, put up a new one. I said, by all means. But in your case, I actually drove by, I knew about this. I drove by twice over the last 3 days to look at this very nice garden. I don't know where we would even put a tree. So I can't answer you now, but I'm asking the administration to look at this. We do have a policy of putting trees, and there's a certain amount of the land that's near the sidewalk that belongs to the city, and we have the right to do that. But I did look at your property. We will look at it, and we will get back to you. I hear you, it's a beautiful garden, and
We're
I can't
very
see,
happy
I
to
can't really
meet
see a
with
place
someone.
for a tree where, is there a place to put the tree?
As I said, we planted 2 trees.
Okay.
They're just not your tree, but there are 2 trees on the property. If you were to plant a tree, I know it's the first 6 feet, 5 feet?
I don't know exactly, but,
Well, it's not that big a garden.
So-
It looks like a big garden because it's very lush. It's a very well-planned garden.
so I promise you, we will look at it, and I hear you.
Okay.
And
Thank
it's a very
you.
nice garden.
I
I
still
appreciate all
invite
your
you to
hard
come
work
and
on
look.
that garden. Thank you,
Thank you very much.
thank you. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Unprompted, it's a nice garden. So you have one additional vote here. I'm here because a flyer was dropped into my mailbox.
Your name?
Oh, I'm sorry. Marc Brion. I live on De La Vigne, and I'm here because a flyer was dropped into our mailbox, as was the case for all residents, outlining 2026 infrastructure projects.
Yes.
And I couldn't help but notice that the stairs between Wood and Mount Pleasant, or De La Vigne, which were closed, in my opinion, unceremoniously last April, remain closed. And I was wondering if you could provide me with an update, because I did not see that on the infrastructure project list.
I don't know offhand, but we'll look into it. I know we have a number of things. So, as I said, I told you earlier, we're sort of finalizing an infrastructure plan, and but we didn't have that when we had to do our PTI. Our PTI is a capital budget, which we had to approve in January, certainly for the first year for 2026. So, and we do have a lot of information without having had done completed the infrastructure report. So we did. And we scheduled for 2026 what we believe to be urgent matters. But I will look, I remember something about stairs, I don't remember those. I don't know if there's anything at this point that Mr. Lapointe, did you want to
background-
add, or we'll double check and we will get back to you?
For
So thank you.
background, I checked
It's
with,
Wood and Mount Pleasant.
For background, I checked with Public Works
Yes.
last year. Wasn't given an answer as to why the stairs were closed.
Okay.
The previous mayor asked me to write her personally, which I did, and I also came to a council session to ask the same question, why are the stairs closed? When I wrote in to the city for why the stairs are closed, I was told that I had to file an access to information letter.
Well,
The
so-
first thing that the legal department of the city of Westmount sent me was a notice that they were exercising their right to extend the time that they had to
Okay.
respond to
We
me
will get back to
on
you.
access to
So what we do
information.
is we either answer your questions on the spot, or if we can't, we get back to you later, and I report at the next meeting to the
Understood.
public what we concluded with regards to the questions from the previous meeting that hadn't been answered yet. So
Understood,
we
and
will
thank
get
you. I
back
was
to you,
just hoping
and I
for a
thank you.
smaller city response to my initial questions in October of 2025. But I will be here at the next session, and I
Okay.
appreciate you looking
We'll
at
have your
that.
answer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bonsoir, mon nom est François Garcia. J'habite le 481 de la rue Prince-Albert depuis 30 ans. En 30 ans, c'est la première fois que je sens le besoin de venir ici pour présenter une situation qui perturbe mes voisins et moi-même. Notre voisin immédiat, le 477 de la rue Prince-Albert, pardon, le propriétaire ne l'habite plus depuis 2 ans, cherche à la vendre, à la louer. Et le sujet vraiment du pourquoi je suis ici, c'est l'exploitation illégale d'une résidence pour la location à court terme. Le propriétaire ne l'habite plus depuis 2 ans et l'a soi-disant sous-loué à une personne qui ne l'a jamais habité. Et cette personne maintenant fait la location via la plateforme Airbnb. Et ça, c'est depuis au moins le mois de janvier. Alors pour moi, pour aller rapidement, pour qu'on puisse en discuter après au besoin, c'est que ce n'est pas une résidence principale, elle n'est pas occupée par personne. Elle est louée en dehors des périodes qui sont prévues normalement par la loi, allant du 10 juin au 10 septembre. Elle est louée constamment, au moins depuis le mois de janvier. Je vous en prie, s'il vous plaît.
Oui. Je pense que c'est pas permis d'avoir Airbnb comme vous avez dit.
Oui.
Et j'ai une réponse de M. No, directeur de Urban Planning, qui dit « Je vous invite à communiquer cette information via assistance Westmount qui informera le service de l'aménagement urbain. Soyez assurés que, suite au dépôt d'une plainte, les vérifications et démarches en cas de non-conformité seront effectuées en toute confidentialité. En plus, nous appliquons les règles strictes sur la location à court terme à Westmount, short-term rental, notamment en attestation de Québec est obligatoire pour exploiter une telle location et elle est permise seulement si le logement constitue la résidence principale du propriétaire. Mais vous m'avez dit qu'il n'y a personne là-bas.
Juste pour vous dire, donc, ce n'est pas de résidence principale. Elle est louée en dehors de la période. Le numéro de permis CITQ correspond à une maison sur la rue Rivard. Et les déchets, c'est une catastrophe monumentale. Samuel, qui travaille à votre service, c'est la catastrophe.
Une suggestion, c'est il est possible également de faire un appel à Revenu Québec, qui est aussi responsable de dossiers des locations illégales.
Alors, moi, je suis venu 2 fois ici à la ville de Westmount.
Oui.
Et les gens sont bien gentils, mais ils sont les mains attachées. Ils me disent, nous, on ne peut rien faire, c'est Revenu Québec. Alors, j'ai appelé Revenu Québec au début mars. Mes voisins ont appelé Revenu Québec. On a rempli le formulaire. Ça fait 2 mois. C'est de l'information qu'on donne. On n'a pas de retour de leur part. Les gens de Westmount disent, on aimerait bien pouvoir vous aider, mais on n'a aucun pouvoir là-dessus. Alors, moi, je me dis, c'est quand même incroyable.
Anybody have any other ideas, M. D'Amico?
Oui. Donc, c'est un dossier, malheureusement, qui est géré par Revenu Québec. Donc, la question de résidence principale, c'est une notion fiscale.
Oui.
Donc, habituellement, quand quelqu'un quitte une résidence principale, il y a ce qu'on appelle un changement d'usage. Donc, ça devient imposable. Puis, c'est tout dans les règles de fiscal.
Ah ouais.
Malheureusement, à Revenu Québec, présentement, il vient de terminer la saison des impôts, il y a des délais. Mais tout ce dossier-là est confidentiel à Revenu Québec. Donc, la ville de Westmount n'a pas accès au dossier confidentiel qui se trouve à Revenu Québec, qui est un dossier qui est géré majoritairement par Revenu Québec parce qu'on touche à la notion de résidence principale, qui est une notion fiscale
Oui.
dans la loi sur les impôts.
Je comprends tout ça.
Donc, je suis d'accord avec vous que vous trouvez le 3 mois un délai déraisonnable, mais je peux vous assurer que 3 mois dans le domaine fiscal n'est pas un délai
Mon
déraisonnable.
point, c'est pas le point fiscal, c'est que c'est les poubelles, votre gars des poubelles, celui Samuel, il est
Oui.
venu encore ce matin parce que les poubelles sont ouvertes, à ciel ouvert. J'ai plein de photos de toutes les choses, j'ai tout le dossier, c'est hallucinant. Le gars, il vient, il prend des photos, il parle au propriétaire, oui, je vais arranger, mais le propriétaire fait rien ou il fait semblant d'eux. Alors moi, tout ce que je dis, c'est qu'il y a des villes, j'ai appris qu'il y a des villes comme le Plateau, en 3 jours, c'est réglé. On me réfère à Revenu Québec, je veux bien, je l'ai fait, mes voisins l'ont fait, par téléphone, par écrit. On n'a aucune information pour savoir que ça suit son cours. C'est possible que ça aille nulle part, cette histoire-là, mais pendant ce temps-là, nous, on continue de souffrir. Alors ma question, c'est de voir, est-ce que Westmount ne devrait pas se doter d'un outil pour accompagner, pour le moins, ses résidents dans ça, quitte à avoir un direct line avec Revenu Québec pour dire « they're working on it ». Quelque chose au moins, parce que là, en ce moment, on se sent bien démunis devant cette situation-là. Et honnêtement, c'est pas drôle. La maison est louée aux 3 jours. Il y a des gros camions qui viennent, des vannes, des pick-up, des gens qui crachent. C'est dégueulasse. Nous, on a acheté il y a 30 ans pour être bien dans le quartier.
Oui.
Puis là, vraiment, on subit ça, puis on se dit, « Hey, moi, je paye mon permis pour rénover ma cuisine. » Le gars vient checker, il met du cuivre en dessous. Puis là, pour cette histoire-là, un Revenu Québec. Fait que, je veux pas être méchant, je veux juste dire, don't you think Westmount should do something about it for its residents? We're a beautiful community,
Yeah,
and now we have people coming in and out. Fine,
You
but it's
make
not
sense.
legal.
Let us see what else we can look at, because it doesn't
Please.
make sense that we should have this mess like that.
Yeah, because other cities are either excluding it completely or they're acting upon it, and for sure there's the question of
Okay.
principal residence or not. I mean,
Yes.
I understand that technical side, but there's the big factor for
Also a
all of
mess,
us
too.
living there.
It's a mess. It's also a mess, maybe it's a safety issue, I don't know. We will look into that for you.
So I put all the data in my
Yes, I
question
saw.
and I sent it.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
I appreciate
Thank you.
anything you can
Thank
do,
you.
and keep us informed, please.
Yeah.
That would be the most appreciated thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Diana
Hey.
Anderson, St. Catherine, near the train station. Thanks for your update on safety. We had very good response from the CP Federal Police, so we're very pleased with how that worked out. But I'm here about the street itself, St. Catherine from the Liz all the way to the Glen and beyond. There is reconstruction happening this summer on the eastbound lane, as far as I understand, quite substantial work. Let's take this opportunity to dig out. I believe there was a master plan in the past, and if there wasn't, maybe we can think about the street going forward. Not necessarily this summer, but as we do the westbound lane, we invest a lot of dollars and time in beautification of Middle Westmount and Upper Westmount for safety and traffic calming measures. St. Catherine is like the forgotten speeding zone of Westmount. It's dirty, it's dingy, the Jersey barriers are an eyesore, a safety issue. Kids hop them all the time. I try to cross them. There's nowhere to cross between Claremont, right, all the way through to Victoria. So people go back and forth on these barriers. It's dangerous, it's not sustainable, and it's ugly. And people speed about 90 kilometers an hour. They come barreling around
on
that
the
corner.
curve.
So as we reconstruct, can we think about how we can make the street almost a mini boulevard? You have a lot of opportunity. It's quite a nice heritage part of Westmount.
Yes.
Not necessarily this summer. I know the work will be phased, but I think the
Yes.
residents along that street want to know what we're thinking about and have some participation in traffic calming measures, beautification, and all of that. I know the Jersey barriers are integral to the lighting, but there's probably other solutions or ways we can make things more sustainable alongside that infrastructure. So,
Thank you. We will look into that.
thank you.
Anything else? Traffic?
Good evening.
Hi.
How are you?
I knew.
Mr. Polovine invited me to come forward this evening to address an urgent matter for myself and my neighbors who have joined me this evening. So I am... Yeah.
What's your
So
name?
my name is Eric. I am a resident of 382 Avenue Metcalf. And I'm just going to be echoing the email that I had sent out last week to, it was forwarded to legal in Westmount. And I'm just going to reiterate the email that I had sent out. So I'm a resident of 382 Metcalf, forming part of the attached row of
Are you talking about 377 at the corner?
376.
376
is
at the
their
corner.
address. Yeah. So,
Yeah, it's in a state of disrepair. They dismantled it. It's been there for years. It's ugly, doesn't even look safe to me.
correct. And I did bring it up during the election
Yes,
period, as you
yes.
recall. But I'll just read the email and then
'Kay.
ask you guys to comment afterwards. So I'm the resident of 382 Metcalf, forming part of the attached row of Heritage 1 properties. I am writing to express my own, as well as my fellow residents' profound concern and dissatisfaction with the prolonged inaction regarding the semi-detached property located at the corner of Melbourne and Metcalf with civic address 376. For over 8 years, particularly in the past 3, the condition of this property has significantly deteriorated, becoming a persistent eyesore and a source of ongoing concern. We ourselves have seen raccoons sitting in the property inside, outside, and even squatters making their way inside and tampering with the fencing around the property. Given the heritage designation of these properties, we had reasonably expected the city of Westmount to exercise greater diligence in preserving the integrity of this asset and to act with heightened sense of urgency. While I understand following the conversation with Mr. Levine that the matter is being addressed, I would appreciate receiving a detailed update on the current status of the file, as well as the city's intended next steps, including any measures being considered to repossess or otherwise bring the property into compliance. It has become apparent, based on direct communication, that the owner, Mr. Lloyd Liu, does not intend to proceed with the necessary renovations. In light of what is at stake, not only in terms of heritage preservation, but also the ongoing stress and impact on neighboring residents, we respectfully request that the city take all necessary actions to expedite this matter. Municipalities derive authority from laws like the Cities and Town Acts and the Municipal Code of Quebec to enforce property maintenance standards, address dangerous or dilapidated buildings, and to protect heritage assets. Those supersede owners paying municipal taxes.
Okay,
I'll just finish off my last paragraph and I'll pass it on to you. More specifically, we ask that you outline a clear and actionable path forward, including steps to assert control over the property and to advance any required judicial proceedings without further delay. Thank you.
So the thing is an eyesore. I saw it for months, and I know it's before the court, so I don't think I can even comment. I don't even know. But I will find out for next meeting what else we can do. What does it mean before the courts? I think there's actually a court date set up sometime in the not too distant future. But I know there's additional powers the city has as a result of bylaw, so I will look into that further and get back to you. But it's not something that we've done nothing about. It obviously bothers us as well as bothering you, and it is before the courts. So, but I will get more specific information to the extent I can, and we will get back to you.
Okay, I
Thank you,
appreciate
Aaron.
that. I did bring it up during the election
Yes, I
period, and
remember.
it's been
Yes.
a good 7 months since. So I'm
And when
hoping.
things go to court, you know how long things take sometimes, beyond our control.
I understand,
Unfortunately,
but I
it's
also was
frustrating.
made aware that Mr. Levine mentioned that in December, there was a bylaw that was passed
Yeah, I
to
alluded to-
expedite any judicial proceedings for dilapidated properties.
There
And-
are additional, there's a new bylaw which gives us more power in the case of a neglected property to take steps. So I'll just make sure that we're doing everything we can, and we will get back to you.
Perfect, because
Thank
we
you.
have images of raccoons, of people who have tampered with the fencing and have entered the property. Many times I walk by and I see the doors opened.
Unacceptable.
And it's completely unacceptable. And I'm hoping that you guys do the necessary measures. A Heritage One property, we do want to preserve it.
Yes, thank you.
For information, it's bylaw 1648.
Pardon?
Bylaw 1648 is the one we passed
Perfect.
about maintenance of buildings.
Thank you. So I'll come to the next city council meeting,
Okay.
and I
We'll see you.
expect some
Okay,
more
we'll
concrete
let you know whatever
answers.
we can. Thank you.
Do you guys want to mention anything in addition?
No, that's enough.
Just that there was some insurance tampering.
She's assigned to me.
Yeah, there was an insurance tampering in March of 2025. I called Westmount Security because a water main had been left on. We thought that it was a water break, but when security took the ladder and descended down to the basement, because there's no basement steps anymore because the foundation work, you have to get a ladder.
Yeah.
They came back up and they said, oh, good news, it's not broken, someone left it on. The only way to leave it on is to have someone go in,
yeah.
get a ladder, go and turn it on. That would have flooded her house had
Okay.
my daughter not heard it because she was selling
Wow.
it.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Hi. There's documents in this file that I'll be referring to.
Okay.
Could I give them to you so you can
No.
follow along?
No.
No.
We'll look at it later. Thank you.
Steve Levy. My name is Steve Levy. I'm a 72-year-old parent of 4 sons, all of whom live with me and depend on me financially. On June 30th, we will have lived at 325 Melville, Apartment 2, for 9 years. During this entire time, I've been a stable and responsible tenant, always paying my rent in full and on time. I'm here respectfully asking the City of Westmount to refuse to grant any permit that would allow the conversion of this property from a 5-unit rental building into a single-family residence. Number 9, well, I guess there's no use me mentioning the number at this point. The current landlord who purchased the building in October of 2025 has stated an intention to evict me and my family from our home for the purpose of demolition or major renovation in order to convert it into a single-family home for their primary residence. They have already brought the case before the tribunal, seeking our eviction for this purpose. At that hearing, the judge indicated that the new landlords would need to return to the court with further proof, including evidence that the City of Westmount would grant the necessary permits for such a conversion. That court date is scheduled for May 26th. While I understand that zoning may technically allow for this type of redevelopment, I also understand that the city retains full discretion in deciding whether or not to grant such permits. This property represents one of few remaining sources of relatively affordable housing on this street. Converting a 5-unit rental building into a single-family home would permanently remove multiple housing units at a time when affordable housing is increasingly scarce in Westmount. There is no shortage of single-family homes currently available in the area that could meet the landlord's needs without displacing long-term tenants. The impact on my family would be severe. Our home is central to our lives, my children's schools, workplaces, and support networks of family and friends are all located nearby. Relocating would cause significant disruption, and based on current market conditions, comparable housing would cost at least double our current rent.
I hear you and I feel for you. Have you sought the advice of a lawyer? Normally, if you have a lease, you have the right to be there until the end of the lease. And
apparently,
maybe it's a short-term
apparently
lease,
the owner has all the rights. You know, I would have to prove to the court that I'm making an income basically of a homeless person for me to prove that I need to stay there, like around $40,000 a year. You know, I exaggerated, but about that. And there's, you know, there's no other way legally.
I think
that-
in your original, because you sent an email, and I think you
Yes.
talked about they had made a request for demolition, which
Both.
I'm not
both.
aware of.
He made
And
a request
any
for demolition
demolition
and the
has to go
request
to
for
council.
renovation.
Is the,
If I understood correctly, you have a judgment from a court, a Quebec court, that says that the owner made an eviction claim.
There's no
You-
judgment yet.
Oh, I understood you
No,
went
no,
to
no,
the
there's no
tribunal,
judgment.
if you're
to
paying your
logement,
rent and you have a lease, I don't think anybody can kick you out.
Yeah.
But maybe a short-term lease. Most
No,
leases-
we've been there, you know, the
No, but-
lease is normally automatically renewed at the end of the term unless he notifies you 6 months before, and then you agree, you make a deal, you agree to leave.
Yes.
He notified me, but I told him I don't want to leave. And so he's taken me to the tribunal and trying to get them to
I
get me
think
out.
you should seek the advice of a lawyer.
But wait a second,
one of the-
you've gone to the tribunal, or you're about to go to the tribunal?
We went to the tribunal, and the
Went already.
tribunal said, the only case you have, me, is if the landlord cannot prove to us that the city of Westmount is going to give him the permit that he needs to change this building from a 5-unit to a 1-unit building. And that's why I'm here, is to plead with you, do not give this guy this permit. And that's the only way I could stay there.
Okay, I hear you. I don't know what rights we have. I don't know if we've received a request. You should probably seek legal counsel
but-
too.
No, it's not about legal counsel.
I'm just confused.
You're
It's
saying
all
somebody
about you
bought it?
guys
Went in front
giving
of
him a
You went
permit.
in front of the tribunal. You do have a judgment, or there's no judgment? They
There's no
postponed-
judgment.
They
The
postponed
judge
it to a later
said,
date.
the judge says, I will not rule at this point. I'm giving you, the landlord, the opportunity to bring me proof from the city of Westmount that they are going to give you a permit to renovate this property as you want to renovate it. If you cannot give me that proof when you come back on May 26th, then I'm not going to allow you to evict this guy. That's why I'm here, asking you not to give him this permit.
I don't know, we'll check. I don't know if we've received any permit. I don't know what rights we have to
I spoke to
deny.
somebody, I don't recall who, here at City Hall, that told me they have received a request for a permit from him.
I can't answer you at this point anything more. I don't know if anyone else can add anything. We will look at it and
And
somebody will get back
I
to you.
just want to finish off by saying, I'm also concerned about whether this repossession request is being made in good faith.
Yeah.
The current landlord previously purchased the property at 384 Avenue Olivier on March 2023 for $2,500,000. And he sold it in October 2025 for $6,500,000, $4 million more. Now, you tell me if that doesn't look fishy, that he's trying to do the same thing here, you know?
Okay, I hear you. There's nothing else I can add at this point. Thank you. I think you should seek legal advice, but we'll try to find out on our end what we can find out.
Legal advice for what?
If
It's
you're-
all about
if you're a tenant
whether
in
you-
the building,
you-
and normally somebody buys the building in your lease, you have a lease, you have a right to stay to the end of the lease, after
Yeah.
which they don't
No,
have to.
no, I have a
necessarily
right to stay
do
to
it.
the end of the lease. That's not the question. My lease is over the end of June.
Okay. So I don't know what else I can tell you at this
But
point.
if I understood correctly, your answer will be given to you May 26. If the landlord is able to produce a permit from the city of Westmount on that date,
A permit or
then
something
obviously
written.
the judge
from-
will rule with the landlord.
Right.
And if he's not able to produce it, then you win,
That-
and you get to stay there. Is
Yeah,
that my-
exactly. Exactly.
Okay, thank you. Well, I feel for you, but nothing else I can add at
It's
this
just
point.
because we don't have the power. We're city council.
Yeah.
We're an oversight. We are not the administration. We don't approve permits. So I cannot give you an answer, and none of us can give you an answer whether we can approve a permit or deny a permit. That's not, we're an oversight.
I see.
We're not the administration.
So you can advise me on who I could speak to that is in charge of giving permits of
Call the head
such.
of urban planning, Mr. No, N-A-U-L-T.
Mr. No?
Yeah.
Very
N-A-U-L-T.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you. Yes.
Hi, Judith Philpott, 46 Claremont Avenue. This is another question about 500 Claremont 100 Windsor, and it's about safety on Claremont and safety of the children and all the students that go up and down Claremont, and the vehicular traffic and everything else like that, as you know. I wonder, it used to not be a problem when they were coming out on Windsor, because it was very slow, and of course there weren't as many cars going to come out. But we were told that it was too steep there now to have that as an entrance, as they're going to build this large garage. And so the garage has to come out on Claremont. And I know there's a stop sign on Windsor, but I'd also like to know what further safety measures are going to be made with the cars coming out of that garage onto the street. That's the question.
You're talking about the new building when it's complete?
Correct.
There'll be 20 apartments or something when the cars come out of there?
Yes.
I don't know, we will ask, we have people here who look after signs and signage and stop signs and things like that. We will look into that.
Yes,
Something must
because
have been
there are
put on.
often people
It's not an
going
issue
down
for today, it's not built
bicycles
yet,
and-
but we
yeah.
hear you. Thank
Right.
you.
But I asked now so that something
Don't know
could be
anything more
done
than
before
that.
there was a problem. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good
My name
evening.
is Andrea Bobkowitz. I live at 136 Irvine. Hi, Matt. I have 2 points to bring up. One is that I've had the joy and delight of living right next door to 4556 St. Catherine Street West, a building that recently burnt a couple of years ago. The renovations are extensive. I've had a small conversation with Matt, and I don't know how to address this issue, is in between the two buildings. There's a lot of debris from the renovations, and there's glass and so on. So I have a couple of furry friends, my dogs I walk, and there's glass. And these are private areas in between, but what measure does the city have to say, hey guys, you gotta clean this up? Animals can cut their feet, humans can cut their feet in flip-flops. There's a lot of debris there. And I don't know how to address it. What building do I talk to? Who you know? And it's just an ongoing thing. So I just
think
would
it's a
kindly ask.
Public Works.
It's a
call us.
walkway in between the actual two buildings, but it's just not actually cleaned for 2 years now. It's just been a lot of debris.
So we do have issues with garbage and overflowing garbage and dangerous garbage in different places. Usually Public Works, if they're notified, they'll look after it. You should probably call Assistance Westmount.
Yeah, I've called. It's private property.
It's private property, but if it's dangerous that people
It's
can
very
get access
dangerous.
to.
Please feel free to go take a look. You'll see the glass right embedded in the ground. It's pretty bad. So I'm just asking for some guidance or some oversight or some indications or hints of how to help. Just tell the owners, scrape it up and clean it up. You know, just that's
we
one
took
thing.
note of it, I see.
4556 St. Catherine is the building in repair. I'm at 136 Irvine, but it's in between that building and another one, I don't know, 4560, I guess. It's just a little walkway to get into the alleyway area. And it's just, you know, I walk to the park through there, and it's just a lot of glass on the ground and so on. So it's very dangerous for the dogs. That's one. The second one I wanted to highlight is just ask, I know this is recreations, but there has been a indication of employment of Westmount residents versus external non-Westmount residents as pool staff or other recreation staff. And it's at the discretion, I believe, of the management, and I realize your oversight, but maybe there should be considering more hard, fast rules. Last year, there was no residents of Westmount as management of the pool. So it's kind of like maybe there should be people connected to the city, more embedded with city jobs. I realize we can't have everyone from Westmount working in Westmount, that's obvious. But I'm just saying, leaving it to the discretion, maybe just say, hey, we should have at least 1/3 staff from Westmount, or just put a number in there, because at the discretion, then they could just pick someone from LaSalle or somewhere. So I'd like to see a little bit, maybe a bylaw change. That would be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, you want to
Sorry,
mention something?
yeah, I'd like to make a comment on that. When it comes to the users of the pool, our number one is safety. So we go with the most qualified people. It has nothing to do with resident, non-resident, it's the most qualified people. So if we put in a bylaw to hire residents only, and we
With
don't have the qualifications.
merit-based. It has to be merit-based. I entirely agree with you. But there were numerous merit-based qualified people available. And basically, more seniority was given to people from outside the city. So if someone worked there for 4 years and someone was working for 3 years, the 4-year got it. Well, the third 3-year person was available.
I can't comment to those
I
specific
understand.
things.
I agree
but
with
I'm
you. It
just
has to be
gonna
merit-based.
comment
Safety is
on-
number one. I don't disagree with that at all. I'm 100% supporting of that. You don't just put someone in as a show.
No, but I understood
entirely.
that there's one thing that they do at Sports and Recreation, is they do consider Westmount residents first, if they have the qualifications for it, guaranteed. But if there are other candidates who are better qualified and have more experience, they will go with that as a safety measure.
There's a tone.
But there is
Yeah.
Westmount residency is taken into consideration.
I agree. It is taken into consideration, but there's no directive.
Yeah, we can't have a quota for, but. I
Everything
hear
has to be
you.
merit-based. This is front and foremost. That I don't
So
disagree
we
with
should,
at
in
all.
other words, if we have two equal candidates, and if they're equal, it's hard to measure, and one is Westmount, one not, we should give.
Why don't we say qualified?
Attention to Westmounter, and I hope we do that.
So
But
I'm-
he says it's based on their capabilities. So thank you. We
Thank
hear
you.
you.
Thank you very much.
Listen, we have a big agenda. There's 3 people standing. I'll let you ask those questions, but the others, if there are any more questions, I ask that they go to the second question period. If
I'm
you're
very
standing already,
fast.
that's
Susan
okay.
Gold. I just want to follow up with Councillor Chomsky about this Grosvenor redo.
Yes.
Fantastic. The lights, the traffic lights on 4 corners on the boulevard at Victoria and Grosvenor have been flashing red in all directions. Cars are coming and going. We have to cross the street, and it's really dangerous. When will the lights be synced and the pedestrian lights be synced as well?
My understanding is the intention is to leave it as stop signs and flashing reds for the remainder of the traffic, for the remainder of the period. And I'll follow up to
That's 3
confirm that.
months. I mean, some people, you know, with a red light flashing, half the people just shoot
So my
through,
feedback
especially
on
those corners.
having been on the ground Monday morning and Monday afternoon, my feedback to the department was to deploy additional stop signs, which they
saw
have,
them.
which is hopefully going to make a difference. I think there's going to be a bit of an adjustment period because people are used to driving through the boulevard, sort of by default with traffic lights. But we'll definitely
Yeah,
closely monitoring it.
I would say I saw the stop signs,
Yeah.
but people are going through.
Yeah,
You know,
so the stop signs weren't
it-
there
it's
Monday
just for
morning.
pedestrians I'm
Yeah.
talking about because, I don't want to get hit on the street.
So-
There's just, they're going in all directions.
I agree with you. It's something that
I would
we're
ask you to
closely
look-
monitoring, and I was there again this morning with my dog. It
So
takes a
was
certain
I.
amount of time to cross the street with the dog, and the dog doesn't always go in a straight line. Pedestrian safety is clearly paramount, and thank you for that feedback, and I will.
So you're saying, are you telling me that it's going to just remain as is unless?
That's their intention, as far as I understand, but pedestrian safety is important, so we'll see if there's some additional measures that we can put in place to ensure that it's clearer that those are crosswalks. But I take note of your comments, and I'll get back to you.
Disappointing, but thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Richard Dufour from Anwath. If I just can make a preliminary comment, that's not your responsibility, but sitting in the back of the audience here, it's almost impossible to hear because of the ventilation system in the back. And I've mentioned this before to your technical crew, but it would be useful to try to find a solution, because especially people talk away from the mic like this.
Yeah.
We don't hear anything, and even some of the councillors. I want to thank the mayor for his initiative to be more transparent and open up communications with the citizens, and what you're doing in terms of starting off the meetings by answering previous questions is certainly useful.
You're welcome.
I did send a letter addressed to the mayor and the councillors and the communications department 3 weeks ago without any accusé de réception. And
Was that about the accessory dwellings?
No.
Oh.
No, I did get a response from that, and I
Okay.
thank you. I think it was Councillor Moss. No, it was regarding the legal fees that were being spent by the city on contesting Bill 96.
Yeah, so I answered that initially. Maybe you didn't hear. Now I realize I should talk closer to the microphone. So I brought it up in a meeting that I had with the mayor of Côte-Saint-Luc, because he's running, or his legal department is running this. I said people would like to know what exactly, where are we going with this, and what money and what we've spent, and he told me other people have asked him also, probably other mayors, and he was preparing some documentation to show me for our residents, and I don't have it yet. This was just last week, so I will follow up with him.
Okay. So, I mean, so you did receive my letter?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. It would be useful just to
I don't know if
say-
I got the letter, but I had a note of it from the last meeting. I thought you asked it at the meeting.
No, I wrote a letter on April 20th and was addressed
Okay.
to all of you. And just to say, accusé de réception,
Okay.
then I will know that
Fair
it's been
enough.
read or acknowledged. But may I just briefly re-ask the question to make sure that it's clear?
Sure.
Yeah. So at the last council meeting, as I said, you guys had voted to approve an additional funds of about $11,000 to contribute to a joint effort to contest the legalities of Bill 96 as it relates to municipal jurisdiction of language.
Yes.
And in August 24th, 2025, the previous council had already approved about $35,000 for the same challenge. You had said, Mayor, that this was just an amount just to kind of finish up the case. But it's my understanding that this case is not in fact near completion and would proceed to much higher costs should there be a likely unfavorable decision at the lower level. And that would imply significantly legal costs. And Councillor D'Amico will be happy to hear that I support him in his statement last council meeting, that saying we have to limit our expenses for external legal fees. So I'm hoping that the city could let us know, not just me, but all our citizens, what is the total cost that we have paid for this challenge, the total combined cost by all municipalities, and an estimate from the legal firm representing us and municipalities of what they anticipate going further, whether it gets challenged and has to go up to higher courts.
Yeah.
Because as we all know, these things could be very,
Yeah, so
very
I
harsh.
asked for the mayor of Côte-Saint-Luc that will get back to us. There was also a comment made that if the government changes, the provincial government changes, maybe a different issue, maybe a moot point. In the meantime, we approved a small amount going forward. The fact that money was spent beforehand, I can't change that. Whatever it was, it was. Somebody made decisions along the way, I don't know for how many years, and we will get back to you on that. I hear
All right,
you.
thank you very much. Yes.
If I may, Mr. Dufour, my apologies. I do have an email here addressed to you with answers to your questions that I got from urban planning. I just forgot to send it. I will send it to you either tonight or tomorrow morning.
For urban planning, that's for the ADUs.
1657, about the accessory dwellings that you had questions.
Thank you. That's a different matter, but I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Virginia Elliott, 164 Hillside. If I were to ask you what SWAC is or was, or SEAC or HAC, Healthy City, would you know what they are? Mr. Lapointe probably does, but would you? These are advisory committees where citizens of Westmount were actively participating in different aspects of the city. And my question is, well, Westmount is rich, but we're rich in resources. And as scouts say, we need to be wise in the use of our resources. So when are we going to be able to participate and have the Spring Ball or Carnival Cruise or St. Patrick's Day Float or the Haunted House or Secret Garden Tour, Camping in the Park, Earth Hour, Smart Living Day, Perennial Plant Exchange? These are things that we did for years, for decades. When are we going to be able to do this again? We're here. We're ready. We want it done. So how can we do this?
Do we have your name and phone number? we have
Yes.
events planning people. One of the things in my mind from the beginning was how do we get more volunteerism? And many people, while I was running for mayor, told me that we used to have a lot more volunteers.
Advisory
So
committees.
I don't know if there's volunteers are not here. There's a young man, a 14-year-old, offered to be to help with youth, and so I really do believe we should have more volunteers. That's on our agenda. We've been so busy with so many things, but that's something we have to look at. You brought up interesting things, and there's a lot of things. We do have a staff here that do organize a lot of things. There's no reason why they can't consult other people. So we have your name and phone number.
So as I say, these events were run by residents of Westmount who have phenomenal skills.
Yes.
And rather than paying staff to do these things, we were resourcing these citizens who were willing to give their time, had the means and the abilities, and were able to offer events like these, which a lot of us would still like to do.
Maybe you could work with the staff. That would be the idea, to help implement things
Great.
if needed. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'll have to leave it for the next question period. We have a big agenda, but it's later today. So let's go where we are on number 4, adoption of the agenda. I'd like to call upon Councillor Shami.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the agenda of the regular council sitting of May 5th, 2026 be adopted with the addition of item 31, the appointment of the Assistant City Clerk and Director of Legal Services and the City's Clerk's Department. That Mr. Dave Lapointe, Substitute Director General, be appointed Assistant City Clerk and Director of Legal Services and the City's Clerk's Office in accordance with Section 96 of the Cities and Towns Act.
Thank you. A seconder? Sorry, Councillor D'Amico. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion carried. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Given the unusual nature of the appointment, could we just get a quick explanation as to exactly what we're doing tonight, as to why we're appointing?
So I will read the whereases, which I didn't think I needed to, but with your request, I will.
Okay.
Whereas the Director and City Clerk of Legal Services in the City Clerk's Office, Maître Paul Geoffroy Béliveau, is absent for an indefinite period, and whereas the Assistant Director and Assistant City Clerk of Legal Services and City Clerk's Office, Ariane Leblond, is absent for an indefinite period, and whereas the Legal Advisor and Assistant City Clerk of Legal Services and City Clerk's Office, Myriam Léger, is absent for an indefinite period, whereas pursuant to Section 85 of the Cities and Town Act, the council must always have a municipal officer or employee assigned to the custody of its office and its records. And whereas, persistent to Section 96 of the Cities and Towns Act, when appointed by council, the assistant clerk may perform all the duties of the office of the clerk with the same rights, powers, and privileges, and subject to the same obligations and penalties. I move that Mr. Dave Lapointe, Substitute Director General, be appointed Assistant City Clerk and Director of Legal Services and City Clerk's Office in accordance with Section 96 of the Cities and Towns Act.
Thank you. We'll go on to item number 5, confirmation of minutes. I call upon Councillor Shami.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Je propose que le procès verbal de la séance ordinaire du Conseil tenu le 14 avril 2026 soit approuvé.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor D'Amico. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Thank you. We go to item number 6, which is our reports to council. 6.1, payment registry. I call upon Councillor D'Amico.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. La liste des paiements pour le mois de mars 2026 est déposée.
Thank you. Item number 6.2, workforce report. Councillor Shami.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Le rapport de la main-d'œuvre pour le mois d'avril 2026 est maintenant déposé.
Thank you. So item 6.3, correspondence. The following document is tabled, the list of bylaws, tabled to the regular meeting of the agglomeration council sitting held on April 23rd, 2026. Item 6.4, minutes of the Finance and Administration Committee. I call upon Councillor D'Amico.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The minutes of the Finance and Administration Committee held on April 8, 2025, November 26, 2025, December 5, 2025, December 9, 2025, December 19, 2025, and February 5, 2026 are tabled.
Thank you. Item 6.5, list of duties on transfer invoices. I call upon Councillor D'Amico.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. La liste de facturation des droits de mutation pour le mois de mars 2026 sont déposés.
It was a big month, $2.9 million. 6.6, list of approvals in virtue of bylaw 1507. I call upon Councillor Chamy.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Conformément au règlement 1507 sur la délégation de pouvoir à certains employés de la ville de Westmount, la liste d'autorisation des dépenses pour le mois de mars 2026 est maintenant déposée.
Item 6.7, tabling of the financial report for the 2025 fiscal year. I call upon Councillor D'Amico.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The financial report of the City of Westmount for the 2025 fiscal year is tabled in accordance with the Section 105.1 of the Cities and Towns Act.
Thank you. I actually, so the financial statements, as you indicated, will be on our website, as well as a letter from me. I was going to read the letter, but I don't think I will in the interest of time. I will just highlight a couple of things. You highlighted the numbers, and I just wanted to say, we have a surplus, we talked about that. We had a benefit from the welcome tax, which may or may not be recurring. Hopefully, it's an indication that people love to be here and they're buying houses in record numbers. Hopefully, that will continue. While this report looks back to 2025, our focus is also on the future. The Council brings a wealth of professional experience, and we will use it to rethink how we deliver services. We are moving towards data-driven decision-making. Keeping service to residents and the community at large is our concern. Our goals are really quite clear. We want to develop efficiency options and strengthen our financial planning. We want to explore options to increase revenue from sources other than taxes and fees. We want to benchmark our performance against other cities to ensure we're getting the best value. And we want to empower our employees to innovate and improve how we work every day. Chaque dollar vous appartient. À vous, la communauté, et il doit être utilisé pour offrir les meilleurs résultats et services possibles. Ensemble, faisons de Westmount une ville résiliente et dynamique. Thank you. Where are we? Item number 7. 7, which is the whole category is called General Business and Administration. 7, which is appointments for members of the Transportation Advisory Council, also known as TAC. I call upon Councillor Levine.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the Transportation Advisory Committee, TAC, be established to study issues and make recommendations to the Council concerning mobility, traffic, road safety, public road development, and any other issues related to transportation in the city. Que les conseillers Jonathan Chomsky, Jeff Chamy et la conseillère Kathleen Kez soient nommés à titre de membre de CCT. Que le maire Michael Stern soit nommé à titre de membre ex officio.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Chomsky, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? You got that? Okay.
Just a comment, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I do want to state the reasons I'm opposed. I'm of the opinion that there should be 3 members on the TAC, which is 2 voting members and yourself as an ex officio member. So if there is, and also we have a third party, which is an independent third party, which is the SPVM that usually sits on the TAC. So in my opinion, if there is any conflict between the 2 elected persons, you as the ex officio member can break the tie. I really don't want to fix something that's not broken, so I'm of the opinion that the old way was working fine, and I don't see a reason to change it. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Agreed.
As it was written, it was the recommendation of the administration, which the majority of us accepted. So thank you. Contractual matters. Oh, it's 4-4. Kez is not here. Kez voted in favor, but she's not here. So we have no TAC. Okay, whatever. Try again. Don't worry, we won't have stop signs, it doesn't matter. Anyway, let's go. Nonsense. Item number 8, which is contractual matters, awarding of contract purchase of Bixby equipment. I call upon Councillor Moss.
Yes, I move that the contract related to the purchase of Bixby equipment for 2026-2029 be awarded to PBSC Solutions Urbaines, Inc., that an expenditure of $463,435.48, all taxes included, be authorized for this purpose, that the amounts required for this expenditure shall be taken from the available funds under budget item 23-310-90-003, that the Principal Director of Project Office and Territory Management be authorized to sign any documents required to give full effect to this resolution.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor D'Amico, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No, motion carried. I must point out that we do get, and this is the total cost, including tax, we do get a grant of $200,000, and I've asked the administration to prepare whatever paperwork is needed to get this $200,000, and I thank you. Item number 9 is awarding a contract for starting road work. That's exciting. After a long process of going out to tender and getting responses. So this is item number 9, awarding of contract for Arlington Avenue and Sherbrooke Street, part of Sherbrooke Street. I call upon Councillor Chomsky.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item relates to Sherbrooke Street between Grosvenor and Strathcona Avenues, which were first built in 1947 and have subsequently been resurfaced in 1957, 1978, 1991, and the water main on Sherbrooke was lined and the public portion of water services were replaced in 2010. Arlington Avenue dates from 1930 and has a stone road base. It was resurfaced in 1959, 1972, 1990, 2007, and the water main on Sherbrooke on Arlington was replaced in 2022. This year's project involves the following work: the resurfacing of asphalt surfaces, punctual repairs to the concrete road base, the installation of an electrified Bixby station in front of Victoria Hall. On Sherbrooke, the complete reconstruction of the north side sidewalks, punctual reconstruction of the south side sidewalks. On Arlington, the complete reconstruction of sidewalks, the reconstruction of Hydro Westmount distribution network on the north side of Sherbrooke, the replacement of all street lighting infrastructure. Therefore, I move that, whereas the city has conducted a call for public tenders, PUB 2026-019, for the reconstruction of Arlington Avenue and Sherbrooke Street, whereas Les Entreprises Ventec is the lowest compliant bidder, whereas the total amount for the reconstruction of Arlington Avenue and Sherbrooke Street is $7,874,192, all taxes included. I move that the amounts required for this expenditure be taken from the available funds under budget items 23-310-51027 and 23-310-51034, and that the Assistant Director of Engineering be authorized to sign any and all documents required to give full effect to the present resolution.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor D'Amico. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So I just want to point out this is a big job that has to be done. A significant reason for this is that it's urgent with respect to hydro. There's major hydro equipment underneath Sherbrooke that it's past the end of its useful life, and we don't want to be caught in a big mess. I'd like to point out, good thing too, that we actually had 8 bidders. We're getting a lot of activity. Sometimes we have trouble getting bidders, so it's good we had 8 bidders to choose from. Of course, we chose the lowest one, and the price that's shown is high, but well within our budget. And I want to point out, too, that we always disclose the full amount for which we have to write a check, but 3/4 of the tax, there's 15% tax in here, federal and provincial, we get back a significant amount of the tax with the filing of monthly tax returns. So thank you. We're at item number 10, which is awarding of contract for preventative maintenance and repair of HVAC systems. I call upon Councillor D'Amico.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Je propose que le contrat PUB-2025-020 soit accordé à Texal DGE Inc. pour l'entretien préventif et réparation des systèmes de CVAC, qu'une dépense de 139 423 $, toutes taxes comprises, soit autorisée à cette fin, that the amounts required for this expenditure shall be taken from the available funds under budget item 02-181-00-522,
I don't know if you have to read all
02-182-
that. You don't have to read all that.
Okay.
That the
That the Director of Public Works be authorized to sign any documents required to give full effect to this resolution.
Operating accounts. 463, 1 second, 139. This is for 19 buildings. It's for preventative maintenance and repair for 19 buildings. It's inspection, regular inspection, a very detailed list of procedures that they have to do for 19 buildings.
It's
Sorry.
preventative maintenance and repair.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Chomsky, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Thank you. Item number 11, awarding of contract for resurfacing of Victoria Avenue between Westmount Avenue and Côte-Saint-Antoine Street. I call upon Councillor Chomsky.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item relates to the resurfacing of Westmount Avenue, Victoria Avenue between Westmount Avenue and Côte-Saint-Antoine. It was last resurfaced in 2007. The water main on Victoria was lined and the public portion of water services were replaced in 2023. This year's project involves the resurfacing of the street asphalt surface, punctual repairs of the concrete road base, complete reconstruction of the sidewalks, replacement of streetlight electrical distribution system. There were 4 tenders received, and the lowest tender was received from Les Entreprises Ventec. The submissions were overall 5% lower than our estimates, so again, continuing with that positive trend for the city. I therefore move that contract PUB 2026-021 be awarded to Les Entreprises Ventec Inc. for the resurfacing of Victoria Avenue, that the amounts required for this expenditure shall be taken from the available funds under budget item 23-31051-028, that the Director of Engineering be authorized to sign any and all documents required to give full effect to this present resolution.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Aronson, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Thank you. Motion carried. Item number 12, awarding of contract repair of street cuts and sidewalks. Call upon Councillor Levine.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This motion relates to the city's annual contract for the permanent repair of sidewalks and street cuts. This contract allows the administration to carry out permanent concrete or asphalt repairs to sidewalks, streets, and laneways where surfaces have become uneven or unsafe. These works are aimed at addressing hazardous conditions and maintaining the safety and accessibility of public infrastructure. I move that contract PUB 2026-024 be awarded to Les Entreprises Ventec Inc. for the repair of street cuts and sidewalks, that an expenditure of $777,182.71, all taxes included, be authorized for this purpose, and that the amounts required for this expenditure shall be taken from the available funds under budget items 23-310-51-017 and 02-392-00-521.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Shami, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 13, awarding of contract for structural assessment, annual inspection, and environmental hygiene as part of the garage asset maintenance. I call upon Councillor Levine.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This motion is regarding urgent safety repairs for our public works garages. Recent inspections show we must immediately install temporary supports to protect our staff and keep the building safe for use. This is a critical priority to keep our operations running while we plan for a full reconstruction. I move that contract PUB-2026-025 be awarded to WSP Canada Inc. for the structural assessment, annual inspection, and environmental hygiene as part of the garage asset maintenance. That the amounts required for this expenditure shall be taken from the available funds under budget item 23-312-03-008, and that the Director of Public Works be authorized to sign any and all documents required to give full effect to this present resolution.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor D'Amico, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carried. Thank you. Item number 14, awarding of contract for supervision of Hydro Westmount underground infrastructure work. I call upon Councillor D'Amico.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Je propose que le contrat PUB-2026-026 soit adjoint à l'entreprise EXP Inc. pour la surveillance des travaux d'infrastructure souterraine d'Hydro-Westmount. Que les sommes nécessaires aux fins de cette dépense soient puisées à même les disponibilités du poste budgétaire 23-311-02-025 et que le directeur d'Hydro-Westmount soit autorisé à signer tout document requis pour donner plein effet à la présente résolution.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Shami, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No motion carried. Thank you. Item number 15, awarding of contract Hydro Westmount mechanical design and post installation. I call upon Councillor D'Amico.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that contract PUB-2026-032 be awarded to Lorrain and Lorrain 1991 Inc. for Hydro Westmount mechanical design and post installation. That the amounts required for this expenditure shall be taken from the available funds under budget item 23-311-02-026, and that the Director of Hydro Westmount be authorized to sign any and all documents required to give full effect to the present resolution.
What's the amount, please?
The amount is...
It's 302,000.
102,120.87.
We have 1,400 poteaux. We have 1,400 in Westmount posts, they're called, 182 of which are from 1964 and prior. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Chada, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 16, which is a price adjustment, annual price adjustment, inflation cost relating to the collection of household waste and food residue. I call upon Councillor Aronson.
Item 16. This pertains to an increase. This is part of the contract we agreed to in 2023 for the price of collection of household waste and food residues. That would be landfill waste and compost. So whereas on December the 18th, 2023, Council awarded a contract for the collection of household waste and food residues that was under PUB 2023-039 to Derrisburg Canada Environment Incorporated. That was in resolution number 2023-12-344. And whereas the contract was awarded on a three-year period, from May the 1st, 2024 to April 30th, 2027, with renewal options, and whereas under the terms of that contract, the costs of collecting and transporting household waste and food residues must be adjusted annually. And whereas it's necessary to adjust the contract amount for the period covered between May 1st, 2026 and April 30th, 2027, representing the third year of the contract, I move that an amount of $1,124,942.32, taxes included, be authorized for year 3 of the contract for the collection of household waste and food residue, That's PUB 2023-039 with Derrisbrook Canada Incorporated. And further, I move that we allocate this expense according to the financial information described in the decision-making file 5762.
I must point out this represents it's only inflation increase that we're talking about. It's 2.7%. I checked in the
That's right.
contract. Do I have a seconder? Councillor D'Amico, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No motion carried. Thank you. We're on to number
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
17, which is the annual adjustment for collection and transportation costs for recyclable materials, similar to the previous one. This is an increase of 2.5%. I call upon Councillor Moss.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is a contract for the collection and transportation of recyclable materials for the cities of Pointe-Claire, Côte-Saint-Luc, Dollard-des-Ormeaux, and Westmount for 3 years from April 1st, 2024 to March 31st, 2027, with 2 renewal options of a period of 12 months each. And it was necessary to adjust the transportation costs for the year 2026-2027. So I move that the cost for the collection and transportation of recyclable materials provided for in contract PUB-2023-040 be adjusted and set at $571,221.04, tax included, that a maximum expenditure of $521,695, including tax credit, be approved for the collection and transportation of recyclable materials, that the amounts be allocated according to the financial information included in decision-making file number 5707.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Chada, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion carried. Item number 18, the awarding of a contract for professional services for site selection study of a substation. I call upon Councillor D'Amico.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that contract PUB-2026-044 be awarded to BBA Inc. for professional services for the site selection study of a substation, that the amounts required for this expenditure shall be taken from the available funds under budget item 02-810-00-419, that the Director of Hydro Westmount be authorized to sign any and all documents required to give full effect to the present resolution.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Levine, all in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 19, additional funds, maintenance of sports facilities. I call upon Councillor Moss.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is for the track at the WAG. It's for additional funding for the, what do we call it, the crushed stone around the track. So I move that an amount of $6,208.65, tax included, be authorized for the addition of stone chippings for the track at the Westmount Athletic Grounds, also known as WAG, that the total expenditure under the contract INV-2026-001 awarded to Pelouse Santé Inc. be increased to $122,460.51, tax included, that these amounts be allocated in accordance with the financial information contained in decision-making file number 02-751-522, and that the Director of Public Works be authorized to sign any document required to give full effect to this resolution.
Thank you. We're only approving really an increase of $6,000. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Chada, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No, thank you very much. Item number 20, awarding of contract, provision, planting, and maintenance of trees. I call upon Councillor Aronson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas the city's conducted an invitation to tender, that's INV 2026-016 for the provision, planting, and maintenance of new public trees throughout the city for the year 2026. And whereas Pépinière Jardin 2000 Incorporated is the only compliant bidder, and whereas the total amount for the provision, planting, and maintenance of these new trees, these new public trees throughout the city for the year 2026 is $89,105.63, all taxes included, I move that contract INV 2026-016 be awarded to Pépinière Jardin 2000 Incorporated for the provision, planting, and maintenance of new public trees throughout the city for the year 2026. And that I further move that an expenditure of $89,105.63, all taxes included, be authorized for this purpose, and that the amounts required for this expenditure shall be taken from the available funds under budget item 02-752-20-457. And that finally, that the Director of Public Works be authorized to sign any documents required to give full effect to this resolution.
Excuse me, you'd have to keep your questions for the end, please.
Yeah.
You can't ask questions during the meeting. There's a question period.
I understand that, but you can't ask the question. Look, I'll ask the question, you can rule it out the order.
No, you can't answer, you
No,
can't ask questions
so
now,
we'll leave
sir.
the question at the end. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Moss, all in favor? Aye. Thank you. Item number 21, awarding of contract for master plan for Summit Woods. I call upon Councillor Aronson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas the city has conducted a call for public tenders INV-2026-014 for a master plan for Summit Woods, and whereas Eco2Herb Incorporated Habitat is the only compliant bidder, and whereas the total amount for the master plan for Summit Woods is $73,102.25, all taxes included, I move that contract INV 2026-014 be awarded to Eco2Herb Incorporated Habitat for a master plan for Summit Woods, that the amounts required for this expenditure shall be taken from the available funds under budget item 310-92-002, and that finally, that the Director of Public Works be authorized to sign any and all documents required to give full effect to the present resolution.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor D'Amico, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No, thank you very much. All
Thank you.
passed. Item number 22, which is awarding of contract for a replacement of 3 ventilation units at the Public Security Building. I call upon Councillor Shami.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that contract INV 2026-015 be awarded to Réfrigération Snowden for the replacement of 3 ventilation units at the Public Security Building. The expenditure of $90,600.30, all taxes included, be authorized for this purpose, and that the amounts required for this expenditure shall be taken from the available funds under budget item 23-312-09001, and that the Director of Public Security be authorized to sign any documents required to give full effect of this resolution. I apologize, it was $90,300.30.
This is for 3 units, as you indicated, and 5 digital thermostats. They're replacing units that are from 1998. They're 28 years old and past the end of their life. Do I have a seconder? Councillor D'Amico, all in favor? Aye. Motion passed. Thank you. We now come to urban planning. So 23, which is approval of site planning and architectural integration programs. I call upon Councillor Moss.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas the minutes of the special meeting of minor derogations of the Planning Advisory Committee, PAC, held on February 10th, 2026, were tabled at the sitting of March 17th, 2026, whereas an application was submitted by the applicant under Bylaw 1305 on site planning and architectural integration programs, whereas the Planning Advisory Committee has issued a favorable recommendation regarding this application as stated in the minutes of the special meeting on minor derogations held on February 10th, 2026. I move that Council acts on the favorable recommendations of the Planning Advisory Committee as set out in the minutes of the special meeting on minor derogations held on February 10th, 2026, and that it approves, with respect to each of them, the plans and permit conditions attached to application 2025-01085-PIIA 2025-03272 under CCUDM item 26-02.1 2602 for exterior renovations at 312 Kensington as assessed in accordance with Bylaw 1305 on site planning and architectural integration plans.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Chada, all in favor? Aye. Thank you. Passed. Any opposed? No. We are at item number 24, and a decision on the PAC's unfavorable recommendation for 87 Holton. I call upon Councillor Chomsky.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas the minutes of the regular sittings of the Planning Advisory Committee held on February 10th and 12th, 2026 were submitted at the sitting of March 17th, 2026. Whereas the primary role of the Planning Advisory Committee is to analyze and issue recommendations on any application that must be submitted to it under the Act respecting land use, planning, and development, as well as any other urban planning and land use application referred to it by Council. Whereas a request was submitted by the applicant for 87 Holton Avenue pursuant to Bylaw 1305. Whereas the aforementioned application does not meet the objectives and criteria of the aforementioned Bylaw 1305. Whereas the PAC issued an unfavorable opinion regarding the request, as set forth in the minutes of its regular meetings held on February 10th and 12th, 2026, under Agenda Item CCU 260201 of said meeting. Whereas, in accordance with Bylaw 1305, the City Council must adopt a resolution concerning the opinion of the PAC. I therefore move that City Council act on the negative opinion of the Urban Planning Advisory Committee, as set forth in the minutes of its regular meeting held on February 10th and 12th, 2026, under Agenda Item CCU 260201 of said meeting, and reject the site planning and architectural integration conditions for the revision of the issued permit based on the plans and documents submitted as part of permit application 2024-00223 PIIA 2024-03-091 for the modification of the staircase railing on the main facade, that these plans and documents be attached to the resolution as an integral part thereof.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Moss, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 25, a decision on the PAC's unfavorable recommendation for 623 Belmont. I call upon Councillor Chada.
Whereas the minutes of the regular sittings of the Planning Advisory Committee, PAC, held on February 10 and 12, 2026, were submitted at the sitting of March 17, 2026. Attendu que le rôle principal du CCU est d'analyser et d'émettre des recommandations sur toute demande qui doit lui être obligatoirement soumise en vertu de la loi sur l'aménagement de l'urbanisme et sur toute autre demande en matière d'urbanisme et d'aménagement du territoire qui lui est soumise par le Conseil. Whereas a request was submitted by the applicant for 623 Avenue Belmont pursuant to Bylaw 1305 on site planning and architectural integration programs, attendu que la dite demande ne répond pas aux objectifs et critères du dit règlement 1305. Attendu que le CCU a émis un avis défavorable concernant la dite demande, tel qu'énoncé au procès-verbal de son assemblée ordinaire tenue les 10 et 12 février 2026 sous l'item CCU 2602-18 de l'ordre du jour de la dite assemblée. Attendu qu'en vertu du règlement 1305, le Conseil municipal doit se prononcer par résolution sur l'avis du CCU. I move that the City Council act on the negative opinion of the Urban Planning Advisory Committee as set forth in the minutes of its regular meetings held on February 10 and 12, 2026, under Agenda Item CCU 26-02.18 of said meeting, and reject the site planning and architectural integration conditions for the revision of the issued permit, based on the plans and documents submitted as part of permit application 2025-01198 PIIA 2025-03280 for the replacement of 26 windows and one door on the main building and the replacement of one door and one window on the outbuilding. That these plans and documents be attached to this resolution as an integral part hereof.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor D'Amico, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Noted. Thank you. Item number 26.
I just wanted to mention that my opposition is with respect to black windows that were proposed for this building. I'm a proponent of black windows where they fit in to the other homes on the street, and this was a perfect example. I petitioned council many years ago for black windows on my street, so I'd be not consistent if I would have not opposed the black windows for this particular house. I think the black windows would fit in very, very well, and accordingly, I voted against it.
Thank you. Item number 26, I call up it's a decision on the PAC's unfavorable recommendation for 241 Kensington. Councillor Shami.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas the minutes of the regular sitting of the PAC held on February 10th and 12th, 2026 were submitted at the sitting of March 17th, 2026, and whereas the primary role of PAC is to analyze and issue recommendations on any application that must be submitted to it under the Act respecting land use and planning and development, as well as any other urban planning and land use application referred to it by council. Whereas a request was submitted by the applicant for 241 Kensington Avenue pursuant to bylaw 1305 on site planning and architectural integration programs, whereas the aforementioned application does not meet the objectives and criteria of the aforementioned bylaw 1305, and whereas PAC issued an unfavorable opinion regarding the request as set forth in the minutes of the regular meeting held February 10th and 12th, 2026 under the agenda item CCU 260234 of the said meeting, and whereas in accordance with the bylaw 1305 of City Council must adopt a resolution concerning the opinion of PAC, I move that City Council act on the negative opinion of the Urban Planning Advisory Committee as set forth in the minutes of its regular meeting February 10th and 12th, 2026 under agenda item CCU 2026-0234 of said meeting, and reject the site planning and architectural integration conditions for the revision of the issued permit based on the plans and documents submitted as part of the permit application 2026-0031 PIIA 2026-03003 for the replacement of 14 windows in the main building, and that these plans and documents be attached to this resolution as an integral part thereof.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor D'Amico, all in favor? Any opposed? This one I'm opposed. I guess the motion carries. Item number 27, decision on the PAC's unfavorable recommendation for 4469 Sherbrooke. I call upon Councillor Shami.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have to read all the whereases, eh? Whereas the minutes of the regular sitting of the Planning Advisory Committee held March 10th and 12th, 2026 were submitted at the sitting of April 14th, and whereas the primary role of the PAC is to analyze and issue recommendations on any applications that must be submitted to it under the Act respecting land use and planning and development, as well as any other urban planning and land use application referred to it by council, whereas a request was submitted by the applicant for 4469 Sherbrooke Street pursuant to bylaw 1305 on site planning and architectural integration programs, whereas PAC issued an unfavorable opinion regarding the request, whereas in accordance with bylaw 1305, the City Council must adopt a resolution concerning the opinion of PAC, and whereas the Council is not required to approve the CCU's recommendation, and whereas the Council finds the plans submitted with the application to be in compliance with bylaw 1305, I move, Mr. Mayor, that the City Council approve the site planning and architectural integration plan conditions for the issuance of a permit in accordance with the plans and documents submitted as part of permit application 2025-01101 PIIA 2025-03257 for the replacement of 8 windows on the side and rear facades, and that these plans and documents be attached to this resolution as an integral part thereof.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Chomsky, all in favor? Any opposed? Noted. Thank you. It's passed. Item number 28, decision on the PAC's unfavorable recommendation for 621 COTE-SAINT-ANTOINE. I call upon Councillor Shami. Okay.
Somebody else want to have it? Sure.
Councillor Chada.
Okay. Whereas the minutes of the regular sittings of the Planning Advisory Committee held on March 10th and 12th, 2026 were submitted at the sitting of April 14th, 2026. Whereas the primary role of the Planning Advisory Committee is to analyze and issue recommendations on any application that must be submitted to it under the Act respecting land use planning and development, as well as any other urban planning and land use application referred to it by the Council. Attendu qu'une demande a été présentée par le requérant pour le 621 chemin de la Côte-Saint-Antoine en vertu du règlement 1305 sur les plans d'implémentation et d'intégration architecturale. Attendu, la dite demande ne répond pas aux objectifs et critères du dit règlement 1305. Attendu que le comité consultatif d'urbanisme a émis un avis défavorable concernant la dite demande, tel qu'énoncé au procès-verbal de son assemblée ordinaire tenue les 10 et 12 mars 2026 sous le thème CCU 260336 de l'ordre du jour de la dite assemblée.
Thank you.
Whereas,
Sorry.
Whereas in accordance with Bylaw 1305, the City Council must adopt a resolution concerning the of the PAC. I move that the City Council act on the negative opinion of the Urban Planning Advisory Committee as set forth in the minutes of its regular meetings held on March 10th and 12th, 2026, under the agenda item CCU 260336 of said meeting, and reject the site planning and architectural integration conditions for the revision of the issued permit based on the plans and documents submitted as part of permit application 2026-00135 PIIA 2026-03039 to replace the front door facing the street. That these plans and documents be attached to this resolution as an integral part hereof.
Thank you very much. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Moss, all in favor? Any opposed? No, thank you very much. Item number 29, we're starting bylaws. This is a notion of motion for bylaw 1657 to amend the zoning bylaw and construction bylaw in order to incorporate provisions for accessory dwellings. I call upon Councillor Aronson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, as Councillor Kez can't be here this evening, I'm sitting in for her, and I'm going to give notice of motion to the, for the intention to submit at a future meeting of this council bylaw number 1657, entitled Bylaw 1657, to amend the zoning bylaw and construction bylaw in order to incorporate provisions for accessory dwelling units. And I've tabled the draft of said bylaw.
Thank you.
Do I read the object? Okay. So now the object of this bylaw is to amend our zoning and building bylaws to introduce and regulate the development of accessory dwellings in detached or semi-detached single-family homes. It establishes the conditions applicable to their location, their layout, their exterior appearance, and as well as utilities and parking, while ensuring their harmonious integration into the existing built environment and compliance with the current urban planning standards. A copy of this bylaw, this draft bylaw, will be available on our website for consultation.
Thank you. Item number 30, which is a notice of motion for a draft of a bylaw 1633 to amend bylaw 1621 on the occupancy of the public domain. I call upon Councillor Levine.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I give notice of motion of the intention to submit at a future council meeting bylaw number 1663, entitled Bylaw 1663 to amend bylaw 1621 on the occupancy of the public domain. I table the draft of said bylaw. The purpose of this bylaw is to amend bylaw 1621 on the occupation of public domain in order to clarify what constitutes the occupation of public property, introduce general provisions, establish maximum capabilities for certain facilities, and ensure the harmonization of various standards. A copy of this draft bylaw is available for consultation.
Thank you very much. Item number 31 we did. And item number 32 is the appointment of Assistant Director of Library and Community Events. I call upon Councillor Chada.
Okay, I am very pleased to move that Council approves the permanent appointment of Mrs. Lauren McLean to the position of Assistant Director of the Library and Community Events as of May 11th, 2026, in accordance with the terms and conditions of employment and compensation for management personnel. que sa rémunération soit fixée selon le groupe de traitement 7 au taux 2026 provenant des fonds disponibles au poste budgétaire 02 770 00111. That this appointment be subject to a probationary period in accordance with the agreement on working conditions and remuneration for management personnel.
Second, Councillor Shami, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion.
Just like to say congratulations to Lauren. I've had the privilege of working with her since becoming commissioner of the library, and she is wonderful.
Thank you. We come to our second question period.
John Breslaw, Grosvenor Avenue. I'm sorry my question was put there. It just seemed reasonable to ask it. So I'll ask it now to start with. 2026-016 allows for the planting of city trees. Does that contract include the removal of stumps? That was what was stopping trees being planted beforehand, and without the stumps being removed, you can't put the new trees in, obviously.
I have no idea.
I mean, you don't want to be in the position, yes, you can do it, but well, you can't get the stumps out because we haven't got a contract for it.
Right. So I'm not going to tell you something I don't know for certain. I don't know for certain whether or not the stumps are included in this contract, but I can assure you that we are not taking out a contract for the planting of trees that we will not be able to plant. And I will get back to you with the specifics as to whether or not the stumps are dealt with under this contract or some other provision.
Fabulous. Obviously stumped. Yes, quite. Question, next one. This is a fast, small question, so second to be added. Are we allowed to have Airbnb, short-term rentals, in Westmount? No. That was what I thought. So when that question came in the first question period, I very quickly looked at both the VRBO website and the Airbnb website. There's 2 in Westmount under VRBO and 7 under Airbnb. And it does seem, one of the VRBOs is kind of cute. It's next to the police station. It does seem to me that when we pass laws and they're vague and they are publicized in fault, that it really is doing to us. So it would seem to me a very good idea if we want to sort of maintain that we're doing something useful in passing these laws, that we actually enforce these laws. And if I can go and do it during council meeting and find 9 things, I'm sure public safety can do the same thing. So can I respectfully suggest?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
can I, so our policy is on our website. If you consult our website, the short-term tourist rentals in Westmount.
Can you speak into the mic, please?
Oh, sorry. So our Westmount, the City of Westmount's policy on Airbnb can be found on our website. It's called Short-Term Tourist Rentals in Westmount.
Yes.
And it clearly indicates the conditions. So if you have any question, I would direct you to the website.
I mean, I asked the question, can we have short-term Airbnbs?
So I will read from the website. In accordance with the City of Westmount bylaw and current provincial legislation, Westmount residents may rent their dwelling as part of their dwelling on a short-term basis, less than 31 days, for tourism purposes only if the dwelling is their principal residence.
So
These
when
are allowed.
Classification certificate issued by the Corporation de l'Industrie Touristique du Québec, the CITQ, is required. If you know of any person that is illegally operating a tourist residence in Westmount, you can file a report with the Revenu Québec, which has inspection and investigation powers. To report an illegal tourist residence, call 1-855-208-1131.
Thank you very much, but it's not my job to do the enforcement, with due respect.
Responding
But I
to
do
your
know,
question.
that Ham Good, who is a very well-respected host, has at least 2 of his properties listed, which does suggest that it is not his principal residence. But that's, so can I just leave it with you that that's something that you might want to follow up. We have, you introduced the concept of roads, and it's pretty bad at this stage. And it's not just Westmount. Montreal's pretty awful also. we have a policy, it's a good policy, of when we do our roads, we do the whole lot. We do it properly, and the electricity, and the sidewalks, and the concrete, and the whole thing. And that made sense for quite a long time when the roads were acceptable. They are at a stage now where you can't go and do all the work that's needed, budgetary, contractual, the whole thing, and deal with the amount of roads that we have. I was in Manhattan visiting my daughter a few years before Trump. I don't go there anymore. And it was interesting to see how on Park Avenue they redid the surface on 2 blocks in 24 hours. And I said to myself, right, if they can do that in 24 hours, just scraping off and resurfacing, if they can do that, we can do that. And we should do that for some of the roads that we're not going to get to in our first and second year major component, but which definitely need it.
So that's a very good suggestion. And I know the city of Montreal does that. And I suggested it for COTE-SAINT-ANTOINE, which was supposed to be done several years hence. And we will be doing it for COTE-SAINT-ANTOINE. I'm told it takes 5 to 7 days. So, and our people have told us that we'll be looking at that type of solution for a number of other roads. Because, as you say, there are so many roads that need work. And again, it depends on what's underneath and how long it will last. If you're reasonably satisfied that the water system and the hydro will last a number of years, it might be a good idea, a good solution to do the top coat. It's 2 inches or something like that. It lasts for 5 years, hopefully, and it costs much less and is done very quickly.
You got the
so
idea.
Our engineering people are looking at it, and thank you.
Yeah. 2026-014, which is the master plan for Summit Woods, I looked that up and I couldn't find it on, you know how when you look up these numbers, you get on the Quebec site all the listings of contracts that have to be public, and so they're listed out. I couldn't actually see that one. Do you know how these are done? Why it didn't show up?
What was the question? Sorry, I got distracted.
Why did 2026-014 not show up on the Quebec website, which gives all the contracts?
I don't know.
Any ideas?
I don't know. We'll check. Thank you.
Thank you. Lastly, very lastly, 1662 was the public consultation. Could you perhaps share with us where council is at this stage on that?
We're still discussing it.
Thank you.
You might.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. First, I want to congratulate Mr. Lapointe. Congratulations on your appointment. I wanted to ask on number 10, is that in fact 2025 or 2026? And then I also wanted to ask, all these numbers that you've given us on all these contracts, they're very precise. Do you have any contingency amounts that go with these contracts? As we all know, any renovation you do kind of goes over sometimes. So I don't know if there's any contingencies on any of your contracts. I haven't heard of any.
I think they are, and I know they are. I don't know if all of them, but...
I didn't hear any of them, so I was just curious if that was part of your master plan.
Yes. And 10, you said 10?
20 questions. Number 10, it's 2025. I didn't know if it was 25 or 26. Maybe it was a typo.
Yeah, it must be 2026, no? I don't know. Is it 2025?
2025? Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank
So
you.
maybe next time, maybe some information on the contingency
Yeah.
portion, 10%, 20%, whatever it is, that would be helpful.
Thank you.
Richard Dufour from Anwath. 2 questions, if I may. For point number 16, regarding the price adjustment for collection of household waste and food residues, you mentioned a price of about $1 million or so, which had to be adjusted for inflation. I'm assuming that's a total amount, not the added amount from the original.
Right.
And so my question is, I know that the original contract and what was signed was for a portion of the year to be bi-weekly garbage collection.
Yes.
And I know that this council had overturned that. So
Yes.
my question is, going forward, the contract that's been renegotiated or added to, is
Yeah.
it for the original Bi-weekly, or
So
is
what
it
it is we only added the weekly garbage for a 5-month period. Approximately, it was part of December, January, February, March, and April, I think. And it was already in the contract starting May to the end of the contract, which I believe is October. It's only 5 months. I think it's 5 months left on that contract, for which we have provided for weekly garbage collection in the summer. So the extra money is on whatever we would normally have to pay. It's 2.7%. I don't remember exactly. I looked at it when it started, but it's in the contract and it provided. We're only voting for a 2.7% increase.
But just a point of clarification, when I heard you mention the contract went on to May of next year, not October.
I think it's October.
So, if I may,
Yeah, I
Mr.
don't
Mayor.
remember.
So, Mr. Dufour, I read this contract very carefully to make sure that next winter's garbage pickup is as originally negotiated. It is once every 2 weeks.
Yes.
There has been no change made to that. And this increase in price is built into the contract. It's done annually as part of the way that this contract and contracts like it are managed.
In other words, it's only on what we have to pay.
That's right.
Right.
So we are under no obligation to pay
Yes,
for
correct.
weekly pickup of landfill for the winter, for next year. It's our intention, as the mayor said when this was rolled back temporarily, that we would not be returning to weekly garbage pickup. We are, as the mayor said, we are working with the administration to find ways to accommodate those who are having difficulty with garbage being picked up only once every 2 weeks in the winter. But at this point, this council has not committed to changing anything with respect to the plan to pick up garbage once every 2 weeks, as was originally planned.
Thank you.
Starting in the fall.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dufour.
So I have a second question, but I'm just reassured, just to recap, just to summarize what I heard, was that there is no intention to go back to weekly garbage collection after.
Oh, no, that's exactly what the mayor said.
Yeah.
When we have the
After-
temporary
We have no
rollback.
commitment beyond what's written in the contract.
Yeah, we're not committed to
Yes,
Daresburg or any
correct.
other contractor to have anything more than garbage, landfill waste pickup once every 2 weeks next winter.
Okay.
Thank you.
I understand. The second question, there were several points between Articles 26 to 9, I think, and I'm not sure, I forgot which ones, but they were all judgments supporting or refuting the PAC's recommendations on certain permit applications.
Yes.
And from what I understood, there was at least one that this meeting here, today's council, had not respected PAC's recommendation. Is that correct? And there was another one where there was, I think it was voted in favor, but there were certain people who objected to it. Is that what I understood? Yeah. Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So I'm just curious, from what I understand, the PAC is made up of professionals, of architects, and
Yes.
people who are well respected for their expertise.
Yes.
And all of you have great expertise in finance and economics and many other issues. Not to dismiss your personal taste in architecture or design, but I'm curious to know more and more why council is not respecting PAC's recommendations. There's a problem here. Either PAC is not doing its job, or either the rules are not clear, or the council is kind of overstepping where it should be
I wouldn't say
stepping.
that. The PAC is an advisory group. In the vast, vast majority of cases, council agrees and passes whatever PAC recommends. And sometimes there are extenuating circumstances where, upon review by the council, although they respect the PAC immensely, they may have a different opinion, and they have the right to.
In my
And
history,
it's not that common.
It's my history as a builder and quite active in Westmount is very, very rare that I've seen council go against PAC recommendations.
Okay.
As often as this council has.
Okay, I hear you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is John Fretz. I live on Lansdowne Avenue. A big thank you for going ahead with a master plan for Summit Woods. My only question is, will the study cost the various interventions? For instance, Gully Trail, well, there'll be 60,000 for this and some. Will they do that kind of a financial breakdown at this stage?
A final breakdown of what work
Well,
has to be
cost,
done?
How much it's going to cost to carry out
Well,
a master plan?
Yeah, we voted on a contract to do this plan, and we voted on a certain amount based on request for soumission. I would presume so. I would presume so. We will get, if anything is recommended that it be done, it'll come with cost estimates.
Okay,
Whether
great.
they supply them or we get them on our own or something.
Yeah. Are you budgeting an amount in the annual budget for Summit Woods this year?
I don't remember offhand. I don't remember.
Anyway, I'll look at the stuff that's coming
Okay.
out on the, and I just, Councillor Allenson, thank you very much. Looking forward to the meeting. Just a small thing, could you see that it's posted, for instance, in the Westmount Independent, like time and place? Because I don't know if everybody gets Westmount News or whatever other way it might go.
Oh, yes.
I will, I'll have a word with the communications department to make sure the word is spread wide, and I hope that, that our loyal reporter here, Ms. Sweeney, will report on the front page of the Westmount Independent in its next issue, that this
Right.
meeting will be held, or this presentation and discussion and walk in Summit Woods will be held on the morning of May the 20th in Summit Woods. And I hope
Okay.
that people will come out in great numbers. And need a quote?
And
Come see
fly
me
up
and I'd be
there.
happy to give you one.
I have a few questions online, so thank you very much. Thank you. I have a few questions online before we finish. So one was asked already in person, 4445, the Boulevard, Boulevard de Maisonneuve, that was the garden with the tree. We said we'd get back to them. Second question was the turf field, we talked about that. The third question had to do with Airbnb. We dealt with that. The fourth question has not been answered. Bonjour, est-ce qu'il est normal que Hydro Westmount soit toujours déficitaire? We lose money in Hydro, is that normal? Nous avons une entente avec Westmount. On achète de Hydro-Québec de l'électricité et on vend à un prix déjà déterminé. Le contrat nous donne un bénéfice brut de 22,5 bénéfice brut, ce montant, ce bénéfice brut est suffisamment pour payer nos coûts opérationnels qui incluent les 37 personnes qui travaillent temps plein pour Hydro Westmount et en plus tous les coûts d'équipement, le maintenance, équipement, camions, substations, whatever. And en bas de ligne, on a un profit avant de réinvestir. Alors, l'équipement dure longtemps, normalement, mais chaque année, il faut replacer des équipements et ça, il faut réinvestir. D'après les états financiers qui montent, on fait pay as you go, ça veut dire on a un bénéfice et si on paye pour nouveau équipement, c'est montré comme un perte, un montant payé, cash, c'est fini. Mais l'équipement, finalement, dure longtemps. L'équipement qu'on achète chaque année, ça dure longtemps. Et il faut vraiment calculer le bénéfice et amortissement. Il y a, dans les états, il y a un format, pour nos états financiers, le format c'est déterminé par la province de Québec. C'est le même pour toutes les villes. C'est à peu près 95 pages. C'est vérifié par notre vérificateur, auditors, Deloitte. Et dans ça, il y a un schedule qui montre qu'il y a un profit. Le défi pour nous, c'est dans les années 2030-31, il faut investir beaucoup et ça, on va regarder de nouveau. The next question, I think there's another question.
Monsieur le maire, je voulais
yes.
juste préciser dans la question que c'est vraiment un énoncé qui est faux de dire que l'hydro-Westmount est déficitaire. La réponse est oui et non. Si vous prenez les états financiers de façon classique, on doit jumeler les revenus avec les dépenses, puis on met aux actifs On met au bilan ce qui sont des actifs. Donc, si vous faites cette analyse-là selon les états financiers qui sont vérifiés, qui seront disponibles demain, vous allez voir que Hydro-Westmount n'est pas en perte ou déficitaire selon le mot commun, l'usage commun du terme, c'est-à-dire revenu moins dépenses. Mais si vous prenez si on inclut la capitalisation de certaines dépenses, la réponse est oui, mais en réalité, Hydro-Westmount génère un bénéfice net. Merci, Monsieur le maire.
Thank you. I have one last question from Lynn Verge at 239 Kensington about garbage and encampments and the service lane running from Atwater to Gladstone. We have this from time to time. Unfortunately, what we do, and we're doing in this case, we were advised of this, we get the owner to call 911, and the police are usually arranged to remove the encampment. There's a tent there that will come down shortly, certainly by Monday, I'm told. So thank you. So I think without further ado, this ends our meeting at 9:34. Thank you very much for attending and listening to us and asking your questions. Thank you.